Good evening, all. Welcome to this week's Midweek Geek. I am the old geek, in case you didn't know that already, and I am joined at the moment by Sean from Major's Musings and our friend Saxius.
I'm
Our
back.
friend, but maybe not his player's friend from the stories.
They keep coming
So,
back. It's not my problem.
I don't know if anyone else is joining us. It looks like Elfbait is simultaneously streaming it out, but he commonly has to work around this sort of time. So we shall see.
He'll pop in when he's ready, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have been swigging on a beer, so if I burp a little, then I apologize now. Right, with us, simul streaming. I don't know if you're aware, but what some of you will not see the comments by other people because you don't. Rather annoyingly, StreamYard doesn't combine all the comments into one easy to read view. We had an unfortunate situation on a stream, I think it was last week, when somebody was talking to themselves in Hungar's stream version of the stream. You joined us late.
And I thought they were being ignored, yeah.
Yeah, she thought she was being ignored. And sadly, it's because no one, any of the other chats could see her. So we can see all your comments. We can see lots of lovely comments, but you can only see the ones that are in the same feed that you're watching. So I'm just going to say hello to a few people. And these are people who've commented. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Tonka. And Major's commented there. Hello, Daniel. There's Saxius' comment. Hello, James. Hello, Halakar. Hello, Letholdus. Hello, Richard. Hello, Brian. Hello, Wayne. We've got Lee Baker and From the Hilt and GM Johnny and Full Metal Dragon. So lots of people saying hello in there. If you didn't see, if you heard a name that you didn't see in chat, then you're not seeing what we're seeing. So with that out of the way, one of the good things about simul streaming, though, that's a downside. The upside is that new people can find our streams a lot more easily. You just have to subscribe to Major's Musings and you'll see my stream and vice versa. So not that there are many people, I think, that are subscribed to only one of us. I think, Sean, I think we seem to have pretty much courted the same audience as of now.
Well, there's a significant overlap at this point, yeah.
There is, yes. Good evening, Gene. How are you doing? And of course, we have Saxius with us. And Saxius doesn't have a YouTube channel
yet.
He's a regular guest of mine.
I just show up at the door and you've let me in. Like a vampire, I've now got unfettered access to this part of the streaming.
Are you saying I should never have invited you in? Is that what it is?
And listen, I have no fault in this. You're the one who has had to deal with me. Here I am, continuously showing up.
There we go. Right. Right. Tonight's stream is a bit of a chill stream. The idea is that we talk about our YouTube channels, things we like, things we want to do, and I think a bit of constructive criticism, things we could do. Maybe we could talk about things we could do better, things that are holding us back, why we set up a channel. And from Saxius, why haven't you, for one? We'll come to that later. But what makes you subscribe to other people's channels? What sort of things do you look for when you want to subscribe to people's channels? These are the sort of things we want to cover. Hello, Ian. How are you doing? But we're also going to have a bit of an ask us anything type thing. We have our first question already. I mean, Jeff has asked Mage any suggestions for a short drow or lull adventure.
I just responded. I don't actually. I don't often use the drow. I mean, once in a while, but nothing like significant. But when the Night Below campaign enters the Underdark, the drow are going to be a big issue. So I'm going to have to come up with some dastardly things.
Yes. And I would argue, I mean, I played AD&D in Greyhawk, and the drow, certainly around the time of Greyhawk when I was running it, was around the time of Against the Giants and Descent into the Depths of the Earth, that sort of chronology. And the idea that any encounter with the Drow and subsequently Lolth should be short just doesn't fit, because they are going to be a long way beneath the earth, and Lolth is going to be commanding a lot of Drow and probably on another plane, or maybe her avatar will be in the Drow city. And yeah, so I've got no experience of short Drow and Lolth stuff because I've never looked for it. Sean has disappeared.
Well, it depends though. Like if we're talking about short encounters with the Drow, from my understanding, for the short it is you either survive and they die, or you're enslaved, and you're having a long trek down into the Underdark, where you will suddenly learn the Australian accent very well because you're now down under.
The thing is,
Rocky.
I don't like to put the Drow. I don't like to put the Drow anywhere near the surface.
Slave raids. Just attack the upstairs.
That's why Sverfnablin exist.
Say that name again?
Snurfneblings.
Snurfneblings. They exist. Yeah. I mean, Drow won't go. Why would evil Drow trek for hundreds of miles to the surface to take some wimpy humans who will probably get ill and can't see down in the dark very well, when they could get some tough little gnomes that are accustomed to living down in the dark?
For information.
Yeah, okay. But what do humans know that Drow would want to know?
Surface information.
Surface information, the currency of the Underdark.
Drow aren't interested in the surface. They're not interested. They don't need to be.
There is a consistent war against them and the elves. They are at consistent war with the elves, first and foremost. They are having to deal with the different form of currency in the Underdark, such as the Kuatoas. They don't really need gold, but they would love some slaves for their sacrifices to the almighty Blibdulpub. So naturally, you're going to be entering into my favorite part of any world, which is commerce and logistics. So naturally, you're going to be having different parts of the Drow houses. Some of them are going to be specializing in going into the top parts. They will be closer to the higher parts of the Underdark, or closer to the surface to launch their raids. It's going to be, blitz attacks, quick in, grab the people, get out. You never knew they were there. That's the whole point of what they do. They trek for hundreds of miles. They want to maximize their efforts. It is no different than what the Vikings did when they came from Scandinavia over to England or down to France, or even the Moors. They did this, very long trek, quick campaign, get everything that's not nailed to the ground, and get out. That was the entire point. And that you would have to apply the same sort of mentality for the Drow. And if it's not just going to be a case of slaves information, then think about the things that they can then gather. A quick attack against a city, catching it by surprise, especially if the wizards there aren't prepared. There's going to be some components that they can really quickly get their hands on. Not to mention there's the occasional what's called magical item again that they can get their hands on. All you have to do is fail a save versus poison. So I disagree, Geek. And these were my reasons why.
The hell did I just walk into?
We're arguing about Drow. I just like to keep Drow in the Underdark. I think they've got enough races down there to keep them.
And that's a fair interpretation, but don't say they wouldn't come up. That's a little too absolute, especially for a fun fantasy game where you want to challenge your players.
It's also kind of built into their lore that they do come up and do raids, and that goes all the way back. So, but you play your Drow how you want to play them.
Well, there you go, John. Though you can easily have a sect of Drow who abhor the surface and they actively hate that their brethren go to the surface. Like, no, that is verboten. Treat that as a taboo amongst that particular family or circle of Drow. Then there you go. You can have the best of both worlds.
Everything is mutable in games.
Yes, it does change from game to game, whoever is the dungeon master. However, I stand by my point. Logistics and supply lines There's a need for feeding the great machine, the machine that is the drow trade.
Night raids to the surface are a hell of a lot easier than trying to deal with the more potent Underdark races, anyways.
Here's one, Ian. That's one encounter in A2 that I really don't like, because I am a bit of an absolutist when it comes to drow. I don't think it fitted in there at all. Anyway,
moving on.
Anyway, right. Lots more people have joined us. Kabuki Kid, and there's Curtis, and there's Crafting Gamer, and there's Coleman, and Straw Piglet, and Praxis, and Richard. And I'm still scrolling up. And if I haven't said hello to you, I'm really sorry. We've just been joined by Elfbait. Good evening, Elfbait. How are you?
Doing all right.
Halakar, but what about Drist? If you saw my Demons and Devils video, you'll know what I think of Drist.
Every character you admire him, every other NPC will become like Drizzt.
And Drizzt in his own right is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yes, it is.
You don't have to like him. It doesn't change that he's a good character.
You can have interesting
gaming.
He didn't do anything to gaming. Gamers did that to gaming.
Yeah. There is nothing. Listen,
they were
it's a story.
encouraged.
The very idea of someone going from, okay, I come from a background where I'm taught to be evil, I'm taught to do all these things, I'm now overcoming it, I'm going through these character arcs. That is good story. And that's what those books are. Yeah. Exactly. And it's what the books are about. They are stories. People just happen to latch onto it and go, I really like this, and I want to mimic this in my games.
I think we've set the tone for the stream. We're just going to bring up a whole ton of shit that John doesn't like and just hammer it.
Science fiction.
Yeah.
Allow me to introduce you to high fantasy.
Right.
How about them TIE fighters?
Okay. I want to get into the topic. Hello, King Eric. Anyone else I haven't said hello to? I don't know. So now you know about me. I'm a miserable old git, and everyone else here is trying to cheer me up. Right. This is going to be a stream where we're talking about what we like and what we don't like as much as anything. But something we do all like is gaming. So keeping it short and sweet. Any games at the weekend or since we last met?
Well, I played your game.
Yes.
So that was good times. You actually gave decent XP too. I'm surprised. Like, are you feeling sick? Are you okay? Like,
no, you found decent stuff. You achieved a decent amount, so you got decent. If you run in, stab a few goblins and run out again, you're not going to get very much. But if you run in and you do heroic things and take down multiple harpies, you're going to get something.
Well, I wouldn't know. I was either charmed or slept through it. So
yes, it was highly amusing actually. You were put to sleep, and then you were charmed first. No, you were put to sleep first, and then you were woken up, and then you got charmed.
It was an alternation of the two. Whatever started first, I can't remember. But
you were not a part of the combat. That's what happened.
And then the harpy got put to sleep, which woke you up, but then you got put to sleep again by the same effect, I think.
I think so, yeah. I just kept failing every single. I didn't make a single saving throw.
And the next harpy you came across, you got charmed again, I think, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was good times. That's part of the game.
It is, yes. Yes.
And I played in. I'm playing in Bear's Star Trek game, which we do on bi-weekly on Tuesdays. So we had a session last night. So we're streaming on Bear's channel.
Good. Yep, I played in 2 OSE games on Saturday. Played in Gene's game, which was absolute carnage. We got battered from pillar to post. Survived just only because he's using AD&D Death Rolls. Otherwise, it would have been a complete TPK, I think. And then I ran an OSE game in the evening, the one that Sean's talking about. Then I played in the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords game that a friend of mine is running on Monday. We are currently putting together a team for the Olympics because it's Greek themed. I won't go into details as to what our team is called or what our symbol is, but we got very silly and crude with a play on words regarding Vuvuzela.
Alrighty.
Familiar with what a Vuvuzela is?
It's an annoying trumpet.
It's a traditional South African trumpet that they blow at in South African stadiums, and we were trying to buy them and we couldn't. But then we had one of them says, "Oh, Vuvuzela, that sounds like," and I'm going to change the tone of the stream now. That sounds like Vulva Slayer. So guess what our team is now called?
I think you just told us.
I think you just told us.
Yes. And we've got the crowd chanting for us. And Thunderstruck by AC/DC, where he's chanting thunder at the start. Mm-hmm. They're chanting something else instead of thunder.
Are you aiming to get demonetized there, John?
Oh, but I haven't monetized this stream anyway. So. Classy, yes. Classy. It's just nerdy blokes having fun on a Monday night, just having a laugh. That's all it is. Crude kiddie humor.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the type of game that I generally don't invite myself back to.
Most of it's fine.
But I'm notoriously not a fan of silly games, so that's just me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I never got into Paranoia.
I'm not usually a big fan of silly games, but
I've heard what goes on in your OSE games. Don't say that, you liar.
Excuse me. Let me point you to Exhibit B, which is
all of your OSE games.
Just
see, the OSE games you cannot claim are serious. They're Christmas themed and silliness. So
I'm forcing myself out of my own DMing sort of niche with that one.
I am in no way, shape, or form trying to call you out on anything, John. Of course.
No, we're
that's just not my groove.
Oh yeah, and we got very silly with Saxius. That was intentional to torment you. We were.
I tried for the longest period to really hold a straight face, and then you just kept on pushing that envelope until it was through the post slip, and then you were through the door itself, and you kept on going after me, going eat, shoving it in my face.
It was all three of us getting involved with that, wasn't it?
All three of you ganged up against me.
Yeah,
workplace harassment.
Because you've got a reputation, so we had to put that reputation to the test.
I tried my best to get after you, but the dice wouldn't let me.
Was it International Tormented Dane Day?
Yes, once a week, usually on a Thursday, they would gang up together and go, "Oh my shopper, oh my shopper, oh my shopper," playing as goblins tormenting my world. Anyways,
yeah. I got to play in 2 games on Sunday. Saxius's 5e game. Where I think I actually got to hit something with my sword.
Yes, you did.
I have a fighter in a party full of magic slinging characters, and so often by the time I get to battle, into melee combat, I have like one swing with my great sword before the battle's over. But that went pretty well. Although I accidentally let a vampire out of a cell.
As one does.
Well, yeah, it was just like. Well, we burned one of the guys in the cell, and we threw the rest of them into the room full of green slime. And then this guy didn't even wake up while we were doing that, so we're like poking him with a pole through the bars, like wake up, because he slept through the whole thing. And he finally gets up, and he's grunting and groaning. And so we negotiated with him, and he said he wasn't going to attack us if we let us out. There were enough of us to where he figured we could take care of him, and he came out. And then promptly jumped on the ceiling and started to spider climb his way out of the place. The death cleric in the party's like, "He's a vampire." And I'm like, well, fuck. So we all started trying to chase this thing, and it got away into the dungeon.
How was the vampire held in a cell anyway? Can't they turn to mist and just leave?
It's a Saxious vampire. Who knows? It probably doesn't follow the rules. It was a dwarf vampire, but so maybe they don't. Maybe they can earth walk, but even still, how does it in the cell? Anyways, that happened. Unless it's not a vampire and the Death Priest doesn't know what he's talking about. But
Well,
either way, he climbed on the ceiling.
Did you read the summary I posted?
I skimmed it.
All right, so let me...
I skimmed the summary, so I summarized your summary.
No, let me just open it up and read the last part. So everyone's on the same page here. There's my recap. Grimnir thought he was a vampire, gave chase. The last the group heard was Grimnir dashing into the dark waters with an NPC, and cries of combat were heard in the caves.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen if he got away or not. Thank you, Halakar.
Yes, 2 thumbs up for Elfbait's fashion sense tonight.
Yes, the flash. This shirt was given to me by a friend who was leaving, I think, Walmart or Target one day, and he saw this shirt, and he's like, I know only one man who would wear that shirt, and he bought it for me. So
you are the chosen one.
I am. But then the second game I got to play in was GM Cody's OSE game, where it was our second session. We've had some delays in that, and for 2 sessions now of OSE, my halfling has not taken a single point of damage.
Well played.
Yeah, well, the first one I got attacked by a giant, but I got attacked by a war dog and ended up taming it. Now we have a dog with the party because I was smart and gave him halfling treats. And then the second time through, I did not go trying to charge the bow-equipped kobolds in the cave and hid behind a rock and just spotted for the rest of the party. But that's fun.
I hear, Mage, I hear you do good Brian Blessed impressions.
Dino, that's Bear.
I was trying to get.
Bear's got the build for it and the voice for it.
Yes.
But no, they're both good sessions, good games. The
Right.
OSU game ended up with us having to spend 2 weeks in town while the party healed.
As it should be an old school game. Right. Anyway, we are here to talk about gaming and YouTube and stuff like that. 3 of us here have YouTube channels, and Saxious, you are a consumer rather than a producer.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, so we'll go around. Sean, what drove you to create your YouTube channel?
It's something that had been sort of brewing for a couple of years. I just kept seeing all these channels popping up and people going, there's some people, more than one, is like, hey, I've been playing D&D for a year and now I'm qualified to tell you what to do. And I'm like, yes. I've been playing for 30 plus years. Maybe I should give this a go. And it was just sort of something that just had been building in me for a while. And then finally I bit the bullet and said, okay, let's see what I can do. And I was testing myself. I was recording myself. It was originally the plan was just be me, just me talking the shit. And I didn't like what I was seeing camera wise. And so I came up with the idea of the puppet and figured, okay, well, let's make a thing of it. Let's give a whole dynamic. And there we go. The rest is history. That was it. I saw the people doing it and thought that looks like fun. I want to do it too.
How long did it take you to come up with the exact puppets and their names and personalities?
Oh, I went through a few iterations. Like originally the channel was going to be the Wizard's Lab, and I had this whole opening sequence planned where it'd be a bubbling laboratory, right? And then the crazy wild wizard in the lab, and then a friend of mine is a biochemist. I'm like, so what do I need to get dry ice and all that? And he's like, well, first you need like tempered glass so it doesn't explode and blind you. I'm like, oh, that's good to know. And then that proved to be a little too much of a pain in the ass. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Wizard's Library, and I was going to have all the D&D books and everything, and then pan over, and then I was reading over Demi-Liches, and I was like, oh yeah, no, Soul Gem. And then the whole Soul Gem shtick came to be, and then I went with that. And then that also gave me an excuse for a completely neutral black background, which was necessary if people didn't want to see my arms sticking out and guiding the puppet.
I don't know if it's working because I have tried to do a new thing in chat. There we go. Oh, Stream Elements is still running. Oh, I tried to delete Stream Elements and put in Nightbot instead with some new bits and bobs.
Sorry, John, but that's inaccurate because the puppet doesn't have a poop chute. He doesn't poop. He's just made of felt.
Yeah, he's a puppet.
He's a puppet.
In answer to Andy, none, because they're made by halflings. They're not made of halflings. No, my character in that campaign is Grimblegood Merry Soul. Got myself turned around. Grimblegood Merry Soul, and he is aspiring to write the ultimate halfling travel guide. So that's his thing. He's leaving the comfort of the Shire to try and get halflings to return to their traveling roots, and he's going to write a book to do it. So
cool. Did you make the puppet?
Oh no, I had my dear old mum make it. She's very handy and she's retired and bored and needs something to do during the day.
Oh, so they are homemade.
Yeah, they are homemade. Well, the skull was just a plaster skull that was ordered. I think my sister got it for me on my birthday, saying, "Here you go." Because I was saying it's like I should go to the dollar store and get like a plastic skull and have it appear. And so they got me a fancier one, and then just go to the dollar store and get the glue-on gems and some stones for the eyes and all that. And but the puppet was made from scratch, using a pile of extra foam that my mother had lying around.
Cool. Well, we didn't know that before. Here was me assuming you'd gone to a shop and bought him like that.
No, he was handmade. I might eventually, if the channel starts making money and the puppet starts wearing out, can't have my 80-year-old mother, who's now starting to get a touch of the arthritis, making puppets for a long time. But I might go get a professional upgrade, but in the same style. But I think the puppet will last a little while longer, so I've got some time.
And what wash cycle do you use for him?
No, I don't. I don't think I could put him through the washer; it would tear it apart.
Right. So, Elfbait, you've had a YouTube channel for longer than everybody else.
I think I've had my YouTube channel abandoned longer than any of you, and then come back to it.
Yours was abandoned, but longer than any of us have existed, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. I started mine ages ago, sort of when a lot of them were popping up, and it was one of those. I had coworkers who I was gaming with who were like, well, and we'd get into these big conversations at work. I work in a call center, so we're often just sitting next to each other with, a desk away with lots of time to kill and stuff. And so we would just talk about stuff, and then after work and during games and all of that. And so my buddy is just like, why don't you do a YouTube channel? And so I'm like, well, all I got is my phone, and the only place I have is a garage. And so it was just really bare bones, just me and my cell phone in my garage, and totally unscripted, unedited, just long, like 40-minute rambles about a topic. But if anybody's talked to me conversationally, you know how that goes. And so the ADHD just goes woo, and eventually we get to the point. But then I started suffering from a lot of like imposter syndrome, and like I was just looking at it like everybody was just doing way more with their channels, and I didn't want to put in the time and the effort and the work to get to that level, because it wasn't that important to me. I wasn't trying to make a living with it or anything like that. And I wasn't trying to be a voice in the industry or, get lots of freebie stuff from companies. I was just trying to be a regular guy, talking about his games and talking about, gaming in general. So I kind of parked it. And it was after getting involved in your stream that I brought mine back. So.
And you've doubled your subscribers, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I'm up to 203 as of today. So I broke that 200 mark and am chugging along. That last one did really well. let's hear it for controversial topics.
Keep on the Borderlands.
Keep on the Borderlands is one of the worst modules ever. Yeah, there's a clicky bait title that'll get people in.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that article. It's like, really?
Yeah, Sean shared it to me. So that episode is kind of I was showing, but yeah, that's just like that guy's. I mean, he did say it was the least worst of them all, I guess. And for some reason, his rating system starts at 1 and gets worse as you go higher in numbers. That's not how rating systems usually go, because number 1 is usually the worst. But
yeah,
I mean, calling it unplayable, saying that modern gamers would see it as like it was a joke or a mistake. Yeah. I'm like, really? You have like. The rest of your article doesn't matter because you immediately discredit yourself right there with that first take.
I felt like picking apart his top 10, but I think you did enough burns on him in that video too.
Oh, the scripty bit, because that one was actually semi-scripted. It wasn't. I had taken each point and like written in like done in red text, my ideas, but I just used it as a guideline. I had some pretty snarky things to say that I honestly didn't put in there. Like, so it's the rules are incomprehensible, but they're written for 10-year-olds, so you have less reading comprehension than a 10-year-old.
You absolutely should have.
Yeah, I mean, I learned when I was 8. I decided to sort of slide it in by saying I learned to play the game when I was 8. So it's how I. Yeah, but no. I mean, I try to
11,
avoid those things, but yeah.
I was 11 when I first encountered the game, and no, it's not hard. It really isn't hard. So I think I've said before why I created my channel, but I'll just reiterate. I originally created my channel purely to do reviews of old AD&D stuff originally, and that's how I started. And I just had this headset. You can see it's battered. Absolutely battered, but I used to sit the microphone up on the table and try and talk into it and try not touch the table or anything while I was talking, and it didn't record very well. I didn't even have a webcam when I started, certainly for the first video. I had no idea. I didn't even know what video editing software I was going to use. I just recorded me talking bollocks for about half an hour. Then found some software to edit it and found some pictures and threw it on the internet. That was my. I cut out the worst bits when I got some, and I was learning to use the editing software as I was going along with that first one. So, but the main reason I did it is because I was looking for people talking about these old modules that had been part of my youth. I played loads of them. I relied on them because my gaming group was scattered all over the city. We didn't have much time to get together, so the idea of running a self-written lengthy campaign was just never going to work. So we used a lot of the modules, and I was reading a lot of blogs about them and disagreeing with a lot of what was said. And I looked on YouTube, and the reviews I was finding tended to be a bloke with his camera on the module, and he just sort of flipped through it, very monotone. Flip through, very, very monotone, saying, "Oh, look at this. That's really cool. And then on this page, it's got this, and look at that. That's really cool as well." And nobody seemed to be really deconstructing them, really giving a genuine feeling as if they had run it. And these videos were hour-long rambles, and I wanted to create 10 to 15 minute reviews that were easily digestible of stuff that I'd run, saying why I liked it or why I didn't like it or what was good or what I'd change or what have you. And also, I vowed to start with the UK series because they're woefully underrepresented in all American YouTubers' channels, all US-based blogs, all listings or whatever of all the modules. Rarely ever mention them, and I loved them. I just thought they were people were missing out on them. So that's why I started with them. And arguably now they're my worst reviews in terms of quality, but they're also my most, I'm not going to say they're my most honest, but my most down to earth sort of. They weren't scripted. They were just me rambling and then splicing bits that I liked together afterwards. I didn't start scripting for about the first until after about 6 months. But that's how mine started. That's why mine started. So I wanted to get some other perspectives out there and sensible, digestible reviews that genuinely felt like the person was meaning what they were saying and talking from experience. So there you go. Yes, Kabuki Kid. UK modules are mostly all quality, especially UK 2 and 3. 3 is better than 2, but as a pair, they're excellent. UK 4 is really good. UK 1 is interesting and has its merits. UK 5 is a good building block. And I've not run 6 and 7. I've read them, but I've not run them. So there you go. Anyway, that's why I started. And since then, I've barely got anywhere in terms of my production quality. I've got a decent microphone now, but I'm still an absolute Luddite when it comes to the software. Saxius was telling me off before the stream because I don't use Audacity.
You have the audacity to not use Audacity.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I want to go into, I'd like to do a lot more reading sort of stuff. It hasn't got a lot of hits, and I must say it's very frustrating and long-winded to do it, especially reading Lovecraft. But I like the finished result. So I'd like to go into that a fair bit more, and Audacity is the way to record then, Saxius. Thank you.
So in short, John started his channel from passion, Eli started it from peer pressure, and I started it from FOMO.
Yeah, I mean, I really should learn editing software someday. I just really can't be bothered. That was my biggest problem all along. I just go ahead.
Right, we are going to having had that little thing there. This, I'm guessing, is a donation to.
It came to my
Mage.
channel. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for donating to Mage, Coleman. Sean, no doubt, will appreciate that. What has been your favourite campaigns to run as DMs or stories you've enjoyed giving your players to be part of? I think we should start with Mage on this one.
Well, my campaigns tend to be a mix of published modules, which I run a fair amount of, but also situations that grow organically out of situations that have happened at the table, where I have to create the scenario. They met somebody at random, and suddenly that random NPC now becomes a major player. So I think my now ended second ed campaign was probably one of the best ones I've run. It ran 19 years, encompassed probably about 10 or 11 different gaming groups with some player overlap. And it had a story. Like that was still the remnants of my storytelling days before I went pure sandbox, but it was still very sandbox. But the players loved it. I know one player, a friend of mine, is still mad at me for ending it. I keep getting snarky remarks and whining, even though he's now committed to my first ed game. But that one started. I almost started in 2000. I'm just trying to think. I had plans. Something I now dissuade people. Never have plans, but I had plans. To run them through a series of various modules, including Ravenloft. Ravenloft is where one branch of that group died. They went into Ravenloft and all got TPK'd. And I had planned on doing a Ravenloft campaign as a branch off from that, but it didn't work. But that was overall my favorite. Like I love the games I'm running now, but that one, I still have players talking about it. And mix of modules that you're familiar with. They did keep on the Borderlands in there. They did obviously Ravenloft, Temple of Elemental Evil. They got through Hamlet. They rolled up to the Temple of Elemental Evil and said, "Nope, we're leaving," and left. And that was the end of that campaign. They just left the country. And a variety of other modules. I ended it off with the Pharaoh trilogy, the Desert of Desolation trilogy, which dovetailed into the Gygax Wonderland ones, Dungeon Land and Land Beyond the Magic Mirror, which was the campaign finale. So that was a good one. Just a mix of the modules and consequences of the player's actions. Which is
those Dungeon Land ones are evil as well. They are really, really tough.
The characters were really high level by the time they got there, organically. Like they
need to be. They need to be, because those are horrid on the players.
Yep, half the group didn't make it out, but the ones that
did,
found the portal, and 2 went home, and 2 went to an alternate dimension to find the fate of an NPC ally of theirs. So it was like, great, you're creating more story as we're ending.
So, Saxius, your favorite campaign to run as a DM, and it's goblins, isn't it? It's goblins. It's definitely goblins. It's definitely goblins.
God, it's been. I mean, I have been DMing almost non-stop now for like 12 plus years now. So I have a multitude of games. It's really hard to pick. I can share the one that I really enjoyed as a player, because that's when I made one of them. Oh, yeah, never mind. The favorite one I have had as a DM. That's tough, to be honest, because most of my campaigns have got something that makes it enjoyable for them. But I've really been digging myself into my 2nd edition group, because I've had to basically, I got the chance of basically combining all of the things that I've accumulated of learning into a group that actually allows me to sort of like deep dive into what I tend to do with my Excel sheets, with the building from 0 to hero all the way up using 2nd edition. I really enjoyed that, and I liked it because the players challenged me as a DM, which I mean, in the sense of like, I've got to go back and reread the basics. That to me is good, because I've now got to make sure I've got like the groundwork covered, but then build it up from there. So as a DM, that I quite like. As a player, I was in a 2-year-long campaign by a DM when I lived in China. It was set in Korea. However, it was set during a very specific in Korea, where the north was controlled by the Chinese and the south was a number of Korean warlords. So I got to play that in a very unusual setting, me being European oriented. It was very different. I enjoyed it. Even though it was Korean based, I made my character, whose name was Saxius, and he went through the whole trials and tribulations of starting out as a paladin, falling, becoming a warrior, and then finding embracement as a blackguard to Orcus and rising up that way before he was eventually killed off. My character that was, which enraged me, and I physically flipped the table because of that. Just not happy. It's 2 years every weekend, gaming Friday to Sunday. Got to reach to level 27. I was so angry that he died, but it was probably the best ending that we could have had.
I don't know. I don't think I could be angry if I got a character to 27 and he died.
It just got to the point where, like, again, every weekend, so like we would be gaming during the lunch breaks, even during classes, we would be sitting and just like passing like quick notes back and forth, and you might occasionally hear like the dice clattering because someone had to fall out of their books when they rolled. Like there was so much investment into it that we just didn't stop gaming, even though we weren't physically together around the table. Like we would still be across the high school, and we'd meet up every time and be like, okay, I rolled this, I've done that, and just reconvene and continue. That's a campaign I can't forget, because that really set my expectations high as a player and as a DM.
Before I come to Elfbait's favorite campaign, my channel was known for reviews. I'm just going to do a little review now that I've actually experienced properly this first can. This is the first time I've ever had an American Pale Ale. This was bought for me for my birthday by my brother-in-law, and I've been sipping on this. And this is my official review of this beer. The can size is stupid, right? It's too small. You have soft drinks in this size can. Beer cans should be at least 25% bigger.
Beer should be in a bottle.
Or a bottle, you're right, or from a tap. I love the name, Beavertown, because over this side of the Atlantic, beaver is a euphemism for something.
Mm-hmm.
Same over here.
Oh, good, right, okay.
We just have more
Gamma Ray is suitably nerdy, and the very, very colourful can makes it look more like a soft drink than a beer. Sean, what was your joke about American beer that you told us before the stream started?
It's like having sex in a canoe.
And the punchline?
Oh, well, I don't want to swear on your stream. You'll get demonetized.
I haven't monetized this stream.
Elfbait, do you want to fill him in on the punchline to that one?
I'm American. I don't drink many beers anyways. The only my rule on beer is if I can see through it, I don't drink it.
Go ahead and say it. His channel can't suffer anymore.
Ah, sigh. All right. American beer is like having sex in a canoe because it's fucking close to water.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's why I don't drink anything I can see through.
It's 5.4% alcohol. It doesn't taste like it. It's drinkable. It quenches the thirst, but it doesn't have the flavor. It doesn't have the flavor. So there we go. Anyhow, that's an honest review of the first ever American Pale Ale that I've ever tried. So, Elfbait, your favorite campaign to run?
I'm the wrong guy to ask because I barely played modules.
It can be a campaign that you've designed.
Specific to modules.
I know. It's just harder to pinpoint the umpty bazillion years of homebrew.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is not a fantasy campaign. It was a superhero campaign where I had 3 separate groups. I had 1 team and 2 solo characters who were occasionally crossing over and eventually working towards the same like universe-shattering event. So it was really cool. And then occasionally we'd have like walk-on players, guys who just kind of like in your campaign, you have the guest players, Sean. We'd have somebody who was like, "Oh, superhero sounds cool," so they'd make up a superhero, and it'd be just like that Marvel issue where like Spider-Man's tooling around and he runs into Bunny Man, and yeah,
I remember Bunny Man greatly. He was awesome.
But no, it never got to that point, but it was just really fun seeing how all the parts moved around and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
I've got a very simple answer for I thought I did.
Oh no! I was saying, so many of the other campaigns I played in and ran were kind of the D&D campaign version of a run-on sentence, in that they just sort of just kept going and going without any specific beginnings or ending, and the punctuation was really bad. We'd cycle characters in and out and change who was running the game back and forth, and it was we did that for decades because my best friend from 8th grade and I I moved out from living with him as a roommate when I was almost 30. So we were constantly gaming, and we had a gaming house. You come home, it's like, what are we playing? Not are we gaming? It's like, what are we playing? And it might be Star Wars, it might be Rifts, it might be D&D, it could be whatever, it could be a miniatures game. So yeah, it's kind of like being like blackout drunk for decades, but with gaming, it just all blurs together.
For me, in terms of running a game, I'm picking this one because it was interesting to read. For me, the ultimate challenge. It was great the way my players got into it. I loved all the historical aspects, and I love the fact that it proved that Cthulhu could be used as a campaign game. And that was when I ran Horror on the Orient Express. Sadly, we never finished it because of lockdowns and what have you, and we weren't able to reconvene that group, which is a real shame because half of the group, by the end of when all that nonsense had finished, half the group had different schedules, different jobs, new family members, things like that, and couldn't commit to playing anymore, which was a real shame. But I'd like to restart that at some point, or at least be started from the beginning. And in terms of playing, I've played with a lot of good DMs. I'm lucky in that sense. But I'm going to say it is the short Call of Cthulhu game that I played about 6 months before I dared dipping my toes into Horror on the Orient Express. And it was at a local game shop. And our group had sort of got together through the shop and we booked out a room. And we'd all been running games and they'd been pretty good. And then one guy, Dave, offered to run a game. We didn't know what he'd be like as a DM. He was best way to describe him. He was I believe his father was from Jamaica. His mother was from Britain. He was a big guy, big personality, even bigger afro. Huge, massive sense of humor. And he basically took Masks of Nyarlathotep, cut it down, shifted the locations, and used bits of it to make his own little story. And when we were trying to interview a Caribbean shoe shiner on a street corner, the accent he gave him was utterly unintelligible. It was so fantastic. It was so good. But no, the way he ran with a smile on his face, a sense of humor, really good accents, loads of props, and really got us into it. And I thought, I want to be even half as good as you. So there you go.
Yeah. I agree. Like a lot of, or at least I do relate that, I've had some DMs where it's just if I can be anywhere near, 10, 20% as good as they were, if I can just get off that same impression onto others, that's, that will leave them with lasting memories. And personally, maybe speaking just for myself as an idea, I'm like, it's very important for me to know that I run games in a way that after everyone is invested into it, that they walk away thinking, okay, I've gotten some happy and enjoyable memories from what I've put my time into for this hobby. And to me, that's the important thing.
As far as I'm concerned, we played for about 10, 12 sessions, and that time I would say Dave pretty much taught me how Call of Cthulhu should be run. And yeah, he was really, and it was a joy, an absolute joy to play. So Dave, if you ever watch this, cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. I'd like to get that group back together at some point because it was a good group. That was a good group. So those are our best games. Hope it answered that question.
I did have a Rifts game back when I was late teens, early 20s. Not exactly my best, but it was memorable in that it was the first time our group had ever seen a campaign to conclusion. We had a proper finale. It ran a couple of years, and then we concluded it. And that was a big deal for us back then. It was like, wow, all the games always fell apart, but this one lasted. How did we do it?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that.
A game run to conclusion?
Nope. Ever. It's always either the DM who was running it or GM who was running it would get bored and move on to something else, or not even get bored, but just buy something new and we'd change gears, or I would do the same thing. Like I think part of it is because we ran our campaigns so open-ended and like just running them forever.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable that you're going to get a new idea and run it, as opposed to if you're running shorter stints, you can get those done, but we never did that. We always ran our games as just open-ended, run them until you just got sick of them or you got bored. So
I think I've just counted like 5 campaigns of like 12 plus years of DMing that's actually come to any form that I will call for a conclusion.
gets a beer.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hey, that's my line, buddy.
Good
You
evening,
said
Bear.
it when you popped in.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt someone who was talking because apparently I'm the only Canadian with manners today. Wow.
Well, I like to buck the trend. You
Sorry.
see.
Where were you, Bear, when we needed someone to do a Brian Blessed impression about half an hour ago?
Sorry, making money. I apologize. But it's absolutely insane that you needed him.
Cheers, Bear. Cheers, Bear. Right.
I like being a dancing monkey for you, man.
Now do Jesse Ventura.
Now, why don't you go? Never mind. I'll be nice. It's not my show.
I'm gonna say King Eric. Neither. Guess again.
Think Hamlet, not Beowulf.
Yes. That'll give it away.
It's pretty easy.
think Lego and bacon.
Ooh.
They're superior Scandinavian.
Think delicious French pastries that are named for other countries.
Exactly.
Right. I have got a few things starred here. I'm just bringing this one up. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or just, am I the stereotypical British gnome?
What is a stereotypical British gnome, please?
You know, those little garden gnomes you get.
Oh, those are British. I didn't realize I thought they were just
Oh,
obnoxious.
very British.
I thought that was
Okay.
just gnomes.
Yeah.
No, very British.
Mhm.
No.
I thought Travelocity invented them. Ha ha! Deep cut, early 2000s.
I'd like to see where they were invented, actually, because I know. I always
Well,
associate
it's going to be
them with
Denmark.
Well, considering they're based after the Nissa, so probably.
Yeah.
They're red caps, right? They're based on red caps.
No,
Oh,
Nissa.
if only.
They're
I thought garden gnomes had red caps for some stupid reason. Why did I think that?
They
they
do
do.
have red, but so do the Nissa from the Danish or Scandinavian mythology.
Oh, Danes don't write. Come on now. Let's
No,
please.
we carve into stone. You're right there.
Exactly, with the
We just
blood
go-
of
we-
the blood of your slaves. Exactly, as
Thank you.
Odin intended it.
Yes, you are very right. This is how we did things, so we still do things. That's why we don't have the best immigration policy.
It's true. You did though for a while. You guys actually denied me getting in. Sadly, maybe that was a good reason. Good idea.
It's interesting to find out that the history of those lawn gnomes goes back to the 18th, 19th century.
Goes back older. They talk about them in Rome, man.
Well, yeah, except for those weren't actual lawn gnomes. They were like depictions of Priapus and stuff like that. So
Okay, it's still an origin point. Jeez.
well, yeah, but it's not the actual proper gnome.
Looks like Brienne's Switzerland would be the origin point.
It's
Anyway.
usually the Swiss.
It's
We have a
German.
question.
It's in German. There you go.
We have a question, and this relates to something we were chatting about before the stream as well. What do you think of the Goodman Games updated classic adventures?
I think they're great.
Well, I'm going to pull a bear and go to my shelf.
I love them because they're not only do you get the original module, but you get the 5e, and then also they tend to expand on some of the points that weren't fully detailed in the originals in the rewrites, which you can then back engineer to the old school if you want to.
And the pièce de résistance.
I don't have them
Double
all.
volume.
I've just got the Lost City, and I really like it. I love the fact that the original module is in there. I like most of the expansion stuff. Some of it doesn't quite gel, but a lot of it does, and it's very good. It's great how they've expanded it down below the city even, but it's there to hack and do what you want to, and it's very easy to reconvert back to basic D&D as well.
I have their Isle of Dread and the Keeping the Borderlands one too. The Isle of Dread one is really good. I don't know. It's good that they. One of the big things for me is that they expand on the stuff that was just, a lot of old modules would have the further adventuring in this area kind of thing.
Yeah.
They expand on that in some of them and actually put. I'd love to see them take like Lost City of Tomoe-chan or something like that. Or Hidden City
I
of
mean,
Timochan, excuse me.
the one I was expecting to find from them was Dwellers of the Forbidden City.
That's the one. Excuse not Timochan.
Yeah.
This Forbidden City. I my brain confuses those two all the time.
Hello, Nerdy Yoga. How you doing?
What's great about Into the Borderlands is that it's a doofer. You get that, you get the keep on the Borderland and B1 and Search the Unknown packaged together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just wish I had the money to have bought all of them. I mean, while they were out and about. But I've backed the Dark
Do what
Tower.
I do: spend money you don't have.
Most of mine have been gifted to me.
I would end up with a wife I don't have.
What's that?
I'm blissfully single.
I'm miserably single. It all works out. All comes out in the wash, man.
But no, I've backed the Dark Tower, so that should hopefully be coming whenever it's released, and I'll have a good read through that.
Had I not heard a rumor that WotC had ended their deal with Goodman?
Yep.
They have, yes.
Yep.
The Dark Tower is going to be the last one. One thing that I think was criminal about them is that as part of the deal, they were not allowed to put out PDF versions. So the maps were just buried in the hardbacks, and the maps were an absolute bugger to use.
And yet somehow PDFs arrived.
Well,
yeah,
Dark Tower isn't
yes.
even a TSR product, is it?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I think that's one of the reasons they did Dark Tower is because it's not a WotC owned property.
Yeah.
See, I'd be impressed if someone went and picked up all the old Rolade stuff and rejiggered
That was
all
good
that.
stuff.
Like, I mean, there's so much good stuff there.
Oh,
yeah.
the Rolades? I remember the one that they had on.
Omanal's here.
That's right. Hey, no.
Fork, is that you? Oh.
Wait a minute. There we go. No, for the Rolades, that was fantastic. That was they had great stuff just for like the Celtic one, I think. One time.
Go Gadget Head.
No,
Exactly, that's
even
why I
like
had to do
their demi-human races were really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Like Elves book. I mean, I played an ice elf out of that forever. And then there was their partnership with Grenadier, where they did their dragons and the giants for the series set of the dragon and giant miniatures from Grenadier. They had 2 supplement books that did each model as its own write-up, which was different from the TSR dragons and giants. They also did a couple of good ones that were magic items from myth and folklore, which is cool. Like here's the magical weapon stats for Paul Bunyan's axe. Yeah.
Well, the nice part is that they gave you something different.
Yeah.
Other than just the TSR sort of, lore, which was nice. It was a nice change. It's something we're drastically really missing in this day and age.
I think they're afraid of doing anything for afraid of insulting anyone out there, and it really has made it very vanilla and bland, unfortunately.
Yeah, this will pass. Just give it time.
I know.
I think
Start writing your product
only
now
really-
for release in about 5 years.
I also don't think that other publishers are quite as gun shy as WotC is right now. I mean, to varying degrees, because WotC is the big target in the room that everybody's going to aim at, where a lot of the people publishing 5e stuff don't care.
Yeah.
Well, you might have a very good point there, but I'm just saying, like, the creativity that Rolaids was Mayfair, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that they showed was fantastic compared to even the D&D of the time. Like, it was a next level. D&D. I mean, I was running into these around the AD&D 1E to 2E switch, and I noticed that 2E was starting to TSR was kind of starting to drill in on their lore, and they were trying to really sort of start focusing everything down into almost brand, whereas the Rolade stuff was just like, here's a crazy idea that we're going to do an 80-page book on. Enjoy that. And it was like, okay, I did. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Didn't the 2E do the was it their green books or whatever that were the historical aspect?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
And
did.
that's
came
where-
later.
Green and blue book.
That came
Yeah,
later, yeah.
Well, second edition was an interesting time period because they were both trying to sort of like rehash everything about AD&D to sort of make it into a brand, but then later down the years they just sort of went, you know what, we're gonna go into everything you want, and they did that by new box releases, new settings, new everything. It was the whole joke that we then later saw in like 3rd edition of like, it's a new month, there's a new book out there.
Yeah.
And that was counterintuitive because they now made less money because the printing costs were high and the sales were going down.
That's true, but I also think that it helps in red, you're if you're building a brand, getting people into there, which is the unfortunate part that we see now, like Eberron, there's no support for it in 5e. They bring it out and then they just dump it. And
Oh yeah, but they've centralized. That's fine. Like,
we had a similar discussion when I was streaming Dungeon Keeper last night. We were in the chat. They were talking about how refreshing it was to see the humor and imagination that had gone into that game 20 to 25 years ago, and how it felt that so many of the games companies are putting out games nowadays, they're not willing to take those risks. Everything is just like a safe certainty. It's this year's FIFA or this year, and it's just rehash after rehash. There's a lot of that.
This is also the problem with the film industry. It's with all the industries, is that they have trained their audiences to expect this, want this, and desire it, right? They've trained them to want this stable, safe, constant drip feed of the same thing, slightly improved, better art, whatever, over time. No one takes risks anymore. Look at the film industry. There's only one company I can think of really off the top of my head that's taking risks with their film, and that's A24. They did that great Green Knight film. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
Yeah.
No, as a Brit, I would think you would. but it's like otherwise,
it's good.
Yeah. The otherwise, everything is drip feed, same thing over and over again. Maybe a new color, maybe a new style. And the audience craves that now because they've been programmed for 15, 20 years to expect it.
There's that, but I'm going to also say that, whether, and I know we're talking about video games a little bit, if you look at Warcraft with just the humor, every time that I would keep pressing the guys to see what they would say. Quit touching me, and things like that as you were double clicking. And those were a lot of fun. And
yes,
I think that's where Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all these crowdfunding have really helped out with the 5e aspect for it. But I know, why do we do this? I'll say this much. Guys, shout out to Mage's Musing. Slan. Grumpy Old Slan doing the S4 where he's redrawing the maps. I watched that this morning.
In Dungeon Keeper, you've got the little comments like, you have too many mistresses. There are words for keepers like you. It's little things like that pop up during the game, and it's genuinely funny. I
think Dungeons is trying to do that as well.
Dungeons is a spiritual successor to Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah. But not enough of them are doing it. And I just heard, like Baldur's Gate 3, they said it's almost a passion project. And I know that, but by doing that, you can see the love and the care that they had. It's like, we're going to create a game that we want to play and hope that you want to play it too. Instead of
speaking of love and care.
Well, on the topic of Baldur's Gate 3, because Larian Studios, to my understanding, was approached by Microsoft for Larian to be bought out, and the CEO of Larian basically said, no, it's not the direction that this company was meant to be going for. They had a very clear outlook for it, and then but these are the sort of things that sort of breaks what you could call for, not the monotony, but it breaks the current status or the current set of expectations by bringing us something new. We saw the exact same thing when we saw The Witcher 3 came out. That was hailed as being a fantastic game because they went out of their way to bring out stories that aren't exactly sanitized all the way through. And there are many things like that. There are also products and within our realm of interest that brings this out. I mean, I'm going to point to Shadow of the Demon Lord. There are some really dark stuff in there, and they open it up. Like, just the core book opens it up for you can go more higher fantasy way, or you can go the Warhammer Fantasy routes. Like, you can choose it, but it's built there for you to choose where you want to go with it, and that's fine. Like, again, there is a market for it, and usually, the consumers are the ones who vote with their wallets. Yeah. So that's how it's always going to work at the end of the day.
Sure, but let me counter that as someone who's worked in film and entertainment and the media world.
Yes.
They train the audience to spend their money the way they want them to a lot of the time, which is why up until COVID, they were pretty good at predicting, on some level, what kind of money they could make. It's why the foreign film market existed. It's why, markets exist. They can predict the outcome. What's happening now, and it's a good thing, is post-COVID, people are just kind of, They're no longer voting with their wallets. They're voting with their eyes. They're choosing to go see stuff or buy stuff or pay attention to stuff that interests them less or more than they did before. It might be a good paradigm shift. Disney's getting a real beating right now. A lot of TV shows that Netflix streaming stuff that they expected to have big numbers on, not just Disney. Many companies have failed. Video games that they thought were going to be big hits aren't. Comics are not selling anymore. So the time is right. We're at the same place we were culturally and sort of economically and entertainmentally at the end of the 1960s, in that the people are waiting for something to come along and really energize them. And nothing has presented itself yet that's caught on. But when it does, it's going to be a massive paradigm shift in the way entertainment is consumed.
I'll bring up one thing. I know you're talking about that, Bear. What I've noticed is that more and more people are going to non-Western sources. So
that's it, yeah, because they're tired of what Western is giving them.
Like the Squid Games being an example, which was out there, or not much. I'm going to count that as also like the Witcher series. You know, that was excellent game, and they kind of break out now. Like you said, once they start playing it safe, people are like, well, I enjoyed the game and I like to play it, and I don't mind having sequels if they're well written. Like I think Witcher 3 is far superior to Witcher 1 and 2, but you need to have that out there. But at a certain point, like, okay, I'm done with this. Let's give me something new that's different. What the surprise hit of this year is what? Baldur's Gate 3, which no one would think that they'd done it. It's won all the awards and everything else. And what was the other one that Elden Ring last year? A lot of these, I think, are out there. They're kind of breaking some of the molds. And, they are refined, but people are desperate for other things. And like you're talking about with the film industry, the other part that comes down to it is if you're not making very good products, especially now, whether it's RPGs or books or anything else, I can just pick up the old stuff. I enjoy watching the older movies. And let's be honest, for movies, you have 100 years almost of movies that I can go watch. And I don't mind rewatching some of the great classics from 40 years ago.
Over 100 years, yeah. No, it's true. But here's the thing. We are not the audience. Get this through our heads, old men. We are no longer the wallet that steers the market. We are no longer the opinion that matters. If we are 45 or older, so Sashas might still be, or you, I think you're under 45. I don't know. You're Danish. You guys age weird. But we don't. Our voice doesn't mean crap anymore, right? I just watched a really good documentary on my lunch break about the modern rap movement, and I was looking at these psychopaths going, what the hell's wrong with their faces? Why do they have tattoos all over them? And, they were playing clips, bless you, John. They were playing clips of their music, and I'm like, okay, I never liked rap to begin with, but what the hell is this? And I realized horribly, we are not the market anymore. We are no longer the market. So we can pontificate till the cows come home about what we think is important or we think is good. It's the generation coming up that's going to decide the future of all this.
We remain on this planet to pontificate, though. It's part of
isn't that the new motto of the British Empire?
We have our stuff. We can just reconsume it until we die.
Exactly.
Which is why role-playing games make a horrible business anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring up the other part too, which is if you look at how much that said is disposable income is I have far more, so I can buy a lot more too.
You may be in the minority there, though. So not a lot of people have a ton of disposable income.
The rest of us are dealing with an inflation.
I'm a two-income house,
salaries,
or up until recently been a two-income household, and still I can barely squeak out gaming purchases.
I'm working at a job, Omanal, where I make money a year ago that was considered a damn fine salary, and this year is like, oh my god, I'm not making enough money to live.
No. I understand that aspect, but it's also hitting the very young as well. I'm just saying that at a certain point and I know John's coming up this as well, we're starting to, those of us who have kids, as they start leaving the house, that's one less thing that we have to spend. Well, now what do we do? And now it's like, oh, okay, I can
actually afford your bills.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
To be honest, you actually get through the month without having to eke by to the next paycheck of the next month. That's that's my wife's and my grand achievement. Hey, look, we're not as desperate as we used to be.
I know I'm quite lucky in this sense because, my daughter has chosen not to go to university and she's chosen to get an apprenticeship.
Nice, smart girl.
Yeah.
she's getting good money for that.
Yeah.
Which obviously, so it's not a drain on our finances. In fact, she's putting into the family pot. My wife's gone full time work, and both me and my wife work pretty much minimum wage jobs. But we bought our house over 20 years ago, so our mortgage is small. So while neither of us earn very much, our outgoings are very low. So.
Yeah.
That's my cats aren't going to grow up and move out, so I just need to make more money.
Well, but that's what I'm trying to say.
But are you sending them to college, Bear?
No, I'm not sending them to college. I told them to get a trade. So one of them's decided wood destruction is the way he wants to go, and the other decided sleep deprivation studies is his mate's.
So reverse carpentry.
It's OnlyFans for his cats. So when he puts it up there, and
they turned me down, Omanal. I legit tried to create an OnlyFans for my stupid cats, and they deleted it and sent me a letter telling me it didn't match their content policy. What? You guys like pussy? I got two.
Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It was like, no, but you didn't just have him play with a little string of yarn. I mean, come on, that worked for years for Facebook.
Apparently not for OnlyFans, sir.
Oh yes, but well, then I feel that you've been cheated there.
Anyway, we do have a topic for this stream that we've been off for the last
right
30
now.
minutes.
No. He specifically wrote, "I don't really have a topic for this stream. Why don't we just come on and have a chat?" So we've been on.
But then he gave it a topic.
Yeah.
Then I gave it a topic.
Yeah.
Yes, I gave it a topic. So
yes, but we agreed the very earliest part of this entire stream. John is chaotic neutral. We can't hold him to anything, even his own word.
Nightbot has just moaned at me. Who the heck are you? My evil twin. Stop spamming caps. Warning. Nightbot has just told me off. I've added Nightbot. I was playing around with that.
You go, Nightbot. I believe in you.
AI is rising up.
I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords and remind them I'm quite good with mid-journey prompts.
Our AI
I've been feeding you data.
Our current overlords. That's all I want to know.
I will take AI overlords over our current overlords in a heartbeat, sir.
In fact, Nightbot is telling stream elements off there.
Oh, okay.
Are we gonna have a
Who the heck are you, my evil twin?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Nerdy Org just hit it right there with that one. That's exactly how I feel when I'm like, why do I have an extra $100 in my bank account? What did I forget to pay? Uh-oh.
You know, that happened to me at work one time. Is all of a sudden I noticed that my paycheck went up. And I went, oh, crap, they're going to take it back out later. I said, I better save this money until they finally said, oh, it's an award for blah, blah, blah. I said, could you tell me it's an award first before I freak out?
Yeah. I actually got a dividend from my miniature sales last month and for a quarterly payout and was actually able to spend it on myself. What did I do? Bought more miniatures.
That's fair.
The problem is your income goes up, you go into a new bracket, and the government takes not only what you made, but just a little bit more. So you're actually behind where you would have been.
Well, and that's what I meant is as we get older in certain cases, and I'm not saying everyone, and I understand that, but if you've paid off a house and things like that, you start having disposable income and you go, what else am I going to spend on? Because who are they making a lot of these collector's editions for? It can't be for like how I was when I was 16 or 17.
No, they're for the 30-somethings that are making an ungodly amount of money and have no problem spending it.
And aren't married and have no kids and can't.
I pointed out a G.I. Joe replica of like an old vehicle from the 80s that they made with all the trimmings, something like $1,000.
Yeah, is that the HasLabs stuff from Hasbro's Labs or whatever?
I think so, yeah.
Well, just like Hero Quest, who are they appealing to for Heroes Quest? Someone, or the Dark Tower, stuff that games from the 80s. Like, you bring these back, and who's buying them? It seems like it's mostly middle-aged men that are so.
Well, yeah, for the nostalgia stuff, yeah. But if you're talking about like the Beatles and Grimm or whatever it is for D&D, that's my brother's demographic. My little brother and his crowd, who are all six-figure making folks.
Well, I'm going to try and throw us back onto the topic of YouTube channels and things like that, because that was the topic. Why are we here?
The topic? Oh,
yes,
well, now Bear's here. He can answer.
What did I say?
Questions.
What was the question? Yeah.
All right, you missed that first because Omenal famously does not have his own channel. He's just on everybody else's.
The deuce, you say?
So Omanel, what made you start following everybody's channels?
Do you want me to really tell you? Okay, so for Geek, because he was reviewing modules as playing them, that was number one. So exactly what he said at the beginning. For Bear, just because I like his voice and his surliness and his astroburbic personality towards me, which is fine.
Thank you, you bald freak.
Yeah.
Bear and Omanel sitting in a tree.
Yeah. So,
John, don't be jealous, okay? Someone loves you. I don't know who, but someone
I'm not
does.
jealous. Those of us on the
talk.
upper right here, we all have our hair.
Yeah.
Whoopsie
So
shit.
For Mage's Musings, it's actually because Sean decided to come on EO Geek stream for a bit, and I was like, oh, you know what? I couldn't take the puppet at first because just the look of it, and then once you get over, you're like, you can't replace the puppet anymore. The puppet is integral. So now, and I feel bad, I haven't even watched your video from this morning. I'm like, no, that's like the highlight of my day. So
Slagger.
Wow.
I watched it at work.
Sean, I love your videos,
Made
but
my
that's the highlight of
colleague
someone's
watch it
day,
as well.
man. They need a life.
I will still take the compliment. Thank you very much. I'm at a low point right now, so I need all the boost I can get.
Buddy. Okay, sorry, just to give someone here the props he deserves. Has anyone watched the Star Trek Live plays on my channel?
A little bit. I just like 10 minutes or so, to be fair.
Watch again and pay attention to Sean.
Oh, as he does his Eastern
His
European
character
accent?
is so good and so subtly prickish to everyone around him that no one's picking up on what an absolute dick he is. But he's just very like, yes, I'm a team player and I'm here to help you with the team. And, boop. And
Well, I contributed, didn't I?
Oh yeah, he's a real. I love it. It's great.
As
Sorry.
chief of security, I've got to make sure that people are on their toes.
Yeah, that's it. I can't wait to do the Mirror Universe episode where they get to see you unleashed. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to make him feel a bit better because I was ragging.
No. We're all giving love out here. I got it. Like I said, I got to give love to Grumpy Old Slan doing his where he redoes all the maps. That's great. I've already downloaded it for S3, so I can use that sometime in the future as well. It's too quiet.
Be right back. I've had two beers and the tap has just turned itself on.
We're just waiting for you to praise Saxius and Elfbait.
Well, I would love to praise Saxius, but he doesn't have his own channel. I really come on to listen to Saxius because of his accent and his. I always just see him as like the Boris Karloff of the group, sitting there as he goes over and he's like, "I've got to play the mummy character or the Grinch or something." So we got to go in there. And got to remind Eli before Bear and I decided to create the rivalry. Eli and I butted heads enough that we had to have John had to create his own channel for us. So
rivalry.
We barely use it anymore.
What are you talking about rivalry? I like you just fine, sir.
Yeah, right.
Also, you said Boris Karloff, which makes me want to hear Saxa say, "Boris Karloff's not fit to smell my shit." That's a deep Ed Wood cut.
Boris Karloff.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Who's Boris Karloff?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was the one that was in the Dracula, wasn't he?
Wow.
Frankenstein.
No, he was in Frankenstein. Oh well, didn't he?
Bela Lugosi was Dracula. You tool.
No, it wasn't Boris Karloff.
Look at that. We do have a rivalry. Look at that. That's awesome.
No, I know that Boris Karloff was in some of the movies with Bela Lugosi, and I wasn't sure.
They hated each other. Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi couldn't stand each other.
I thought they were in one film together.
Maybe, but it was like late in their career, not at the peak. Okay. I'm sure. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Well, Karloff was famously Frankenstein in the original. That's
I'm not a film buff, but I'm just going to say Bela Lugosi's dead, undead.
Undead. Great song. You ever heard like the 38,000-minute version of it?
Yes. And have you ever seen the live version where he's dangling like a bat the whole time while singing it? It's magnificent. Absolutely magnificent.
Okay, all right. Slow down. This is a family
show. Saxius, why did you subscribe to us if you have? I mean, I don't even know if you have. I mean,
what if I subscribe? So the question is, why do I follow D&D channels? Is that the question?
Well, that leaves me out. I'm not a D&D channel, so I'll just sit back and watch the show.
I I follow people for their insights. I follow people for their perspectives. I
Why do you
follow
follow me then?
because, as you might have noticed, I come on here and we butt heads every so often. Where you will say, "Here's what I like," and I'll go, "Well, here's the opposite view," and you will go, "I am old," and I will sit in my corner and say, "You're wrong."
Yeah.
And that's like, it's still though, like I enjoy the part of where we will go back and forth, and it will sort of like basically end up with more or less the same thing. If you'll say, "Well, this is how I like it," and it's like, "Well, that's fine. You have your reasons," but it generates something, at least here, for everyone
Yes.
else to enjoy. But I also enjoy coming to other people's channels and then hearing what did they do, how did they do it, what was their reasoning behind it, because then I can take snippets away from them, because there is wisdom from everyone, and there is things that I can learn. So for me, it's like a sponge. I'm deliberately running from well to well, trying to soak up as much information and knowledge from those who have got more experience than me. So that I can
It's
take.
the Dane in you. You're pillaging.
Yes, yes, fine. We will narrow it down to its absolute honest truth. I'm just still a Viking. I'm going around raiding, stealing, and taking
There's-
everything I can.
There's your channel identity, Saxus. You are the Viking DM.
Oh, dude, do it.
I'm
Yes.
sure there is already one that's
Doesn't
called
matter. Do it
Viking
anyway.
DM.
We'll get you cool art.
Just
Just do it.
the real Viking DM.
The real Viking DM. The OG Viking DM. What is it? What's OG old school? Was that original gangster? No, it's Olaf Gudmundsson.
So
That's
I'm going to throw the first question I asked to everyone who was on the stream when Bear wasn't here. Bear, why did you set up your channel in the first place?
I've probably said this many times on my channel why I do this. I do this because I want to. It was something I wanted to do. I tried doing podcasting, and it was a pain in the ass making audio and trying to upload podcasts and edit the audio, and it was just aggravating. So I said, you know what, I'm good with camera, I'm good with speaking. Let's see if I can do something with this in a video format. And then I very quickly realized as I was going along, I much prefer doing live radio style conversations than making curated content. So I could never do what Sean does, because I would just murder myself. It would just be the end. I would just wake up one morning with me standing over my bed with a baseball bat explaining to me why I chose wrong. But getting people together and having a conversation about a topic or a subject, I'm good at that. It's what I studied in school. So why not do that? And then it just became a fun thing to do. I used to work in radio, so this is like how I get my radio fix again. Just I'm not allowed to play records because YouTube will, screw me over.
I'm just waiting for Sean to use his poor 80-year-old mother to make, to put her in a little sweatshop of making Lancer Gandalgore, puppets and say
puppet merch.
Yeah, that's right. That's puppet merchandise.
I'll give her poor hands a break and just go to a merchandiser. If
I've just heard the bathroom door open, so the bathroom in my house is now free. So I'm going to try and go again. Okay. Everyone, welcome Guns Are Cool to the stream while I disappear for.
Hey, cool. Daniel, Sean, real fast. If you ever make bobbleheads out of those two characters, I'm in line to buy them, dude. For sure.
3 characters. Cool. You get the disclaimer imp too.
Yeah,
there's a third puppet. I've never seen the third.
There's
puppet.
an imp.
I've never seen back. One. Okay, thank you.
If anybody's interested in learning how to make puppets, there's a great YouTube channel called Puppet Nerd, and the guy does like full Jim Henson level puppetry and does everything from basic stuff all the way up to like individually operated hands and blinking eyeballs kind of puppets.
Cool. So I've never seen this guy before, Sean.
He shows up from time to time. He's the disclaimer imp. So if ever I have a disclaimer, he pops up and gives it out.
That's how you grow your cast. Just every so often, when you need something new, you embody it with a new puppet. Next thing you know, you're a creature shop.
Now, Sean, I know that you have been working on like Final Cut and stuff. Is that also part of the reason you started your channel, is to increase your other job skills kinds of things?
Not specifically. It's a good byproduct, but not specifically. I started with the editing. Everything was done on my phone. My very first few videos were all on my phone, and then I realized it was getting to be problematic, and I realized I had a tablet. So it's like, all right, let's move the editing to the tablet, because I was doing iMovie, which came for free.
Yep.
And then even the tablet started to slow down. I could only do a video of 5 minutes before this tablet would get all slow. It would take me a minute to do an edit if a video was more than 10 minutes while the tablet processed it. And then my sister gave me her hand-me-down computer. She had a Mac that she was getting rid of, so I took that, put iMovie on that, and then somebody suggested to me, you should try Final Cut Pro. I'm like, iMovie does what I need it to do. And then so somebody gave me for Christmas, gave me money to get a Final Cut Pro. I was like, all right, I'll try the free trial at least. 90 days later, it's like, I can't go back. I got to stick with Final Cut Pro. I'm so used to it now, and it's got all these bells and whistles. So yeah, I've been having to teach myself Final Cut Pro, and every time I come across something I want to do, I say, all right, on to Google. Okay, how do I do this in Final Cut Pro? And
I completely relate with you in regards to Photoshop. I've tried the other ones. I've tried the free one. What's that free one called? I keep forgetting the name of it that everybody talks about. GIMP. Nope. The other one that's
MS Paint.
The A one. What's the one that begins with an A now? It's like the alternate Photoshop company that has the full suite. And I tried their free thing. I'm like, nope. Just give me my damn Photoshop, please. I'll pay for it every month. Thank you. I have the subscription. And like he says, how do I do this? Someone on Google will tell me how, and they do.
Yep.
It's great.
That's how I'm gonna learn ZBrush for digital sculpting. So
I do need to go back to that and touch up on my Wonder Draft skills so I can keep working on my maps.
Oh, if, they've got the campaign cartographer that you can go buy for $30 right now.
Sorry, I just choked on my own.
Campaign cartographer, I don't want a program that I actually have to go to school to use.
Yeah, I'm not interested in using AutoCAD for fantasy maps. Thanks.
I mean, Wonder Draft does all I need it to do.
Oh no, I agree. It just depends on what level you want. I have Wonder Draft, and what's the other one? What's the other one that they have?
Incarnate's the other one. Dungeon Draft and Wonder Draft.
Right. Yeah.
The other day it's funny. Different tools for different things. Like if I'm doing a fantasy map, I will go to Dungeon Draft. But if I'm doing anything modern in science fiction, I tend to use Dungeon Fog, which is still web-based and still annoying, and they keep tweaking it without telling people. But that one has so much more going for it, but it's not as easy to use, and so therefore if I'm doing a dungeon, I'll just do Dungeon Draft. But I was doing some Gamma World maps, and I'm like, into Dungeon Fog. But I've done some really good like space deck plans and stuff with it. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
No. What we're saying, what do you do and why?
Cat tax. I was talking about software. There's a little cat tax for everybody.
Nice. Yeah, mine's.
So fair. If you get bobbleheads of the cats, let me know. And
oh, for sure. I don't think they're celebrity enough, but who knows?
Well,
anybody watching your channel loves your cats.
Well, the Misty box would be empty because it's so rare to see Misty, right? So like 1 in 10 Misty boxes would have an actual Misty bobblehead. The rest are just, no, sorry, try again.
It's a Schrodinger's Misty box.
Exactly.
Right, this is an open question to everyone who's got a channel. Is there anything that you've not been able to do on your channel yet that you would like to?
Light somebody on fire.
Well, I had a better answer, but then he gave that, and my answer was shit by comparison. So I'm with him. Light some people on fire.
And anybody in particular?
Nah, I don't want to cause any drama.
The list is long.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discovered your slightly acidic side in the last week or two, haven't we, Eli? So go on.
I have an
full
acidic
acid
side.
Lightly acidic side. Ooh, I look alike. Ooh, that's a bingo.
Like Pepsi. No.
Come on, Eli. Let yourself go.
No.
You've already admitted you do hold yourself back.
Ask Bear. I'm repressed.
He really is. He's a nice guy. He's just a nice guy. He's got that West Coast kind of holier than thou tone sometimes, which if you don't know the West Coast holier than thou tone, you want to slap the shit out of them. I spent enough time out there to learn it and go, okay, they're not really being condescending. They just genetically think they're better than us because they grew up in the Pacific Coast.
I don't even notice that I do it. So
no, you don't.
That's how ingrained it is. Well, you know,
That's okay. I have the really aggressive Eastern thing that we don't even realize. We sound like we want to murder you, and we're like, "I'm just talking." No, you're angry.
And I happen to like East Coast people, so
Aww.
I used to always get in arguments with people on the West Coast. Like, people from the East Coast are assholes. I'm like, no, they just don't have time for your bullshit. But
So, Omanal, that's how you be friends, Omanal. Learn, Omanal, learn.
All it took was a few vacations to my relatives in New York, and I learned that real quick. So,
Elf-Bait's a true American.
No, so, I don't own a single gun. And
so, apart from setting people on fire, is there anything else you want to do with each other?
I don't know. I honestly, I really. Yeah, no.
See, my stuff's like just fly by the seat of the pants and see what happens type stuff. I'd like to be able to do better reviews. Honestly, that's something I'd like to be able to do, is actually do better reviews. The problem is that I get other people to do the reviews for the channel, so it's usually only going to be on a live stream that they're going to talk about it. And I'd like to be able to actually get them to record a review and then edit it into its own segment. That would be kind of better, I think.
My problem with reviews is I just don't have enough of a shit to give about most things to have an opinion.
I can't say that out loud because I get free product.
I'm just thinking that what Bear needs is someone in his group to do the recap like Sean does, you know, for his games, and so we can watch in like 10 or 15 minutes. Like, oh, cool.
Why would I want to do that? Sean's already covered that type of. He's got that market cornered. Why would I want to try and compete with Sean? He does it so well.
No,
your story is done in that style.
No, not you, Bear. One of your players doing that.
Well, today Brian put up, because one of the parts of the Star Trek Adventures game is that they introduced a rule in the TOS Digest for characters to do logs and then to use the logs to determine their milestone advantage. So Brian went ahead, a game of ADHD, recorded his log and then put it up in character on his channel over on YouTube. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I watched that this morning. I'm like, this is interesting. This is new.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Somebody's fishing for XP.
So I'm kind of like, that's impressive for me. I like that.
I mean, he was in uniform even.
Yeah. Actually, something I'd like to do is get more women involved, to be honest, because this community, for what it's worth, is kind of a sausage fest. And I've been doing my best to try and, when I meet female subscribers and things, to try and get them involved more and try and get them to come out of their shells more, because I think it could only benefit us to offset all the nonsense cosplay 5e attention whores that are dominating that community right now, to get a little more of a female over here, because it might help our type of gaming actually get more traction as well.
We have a number of women in chat tonight.
Yeah, get them on camera, brother.
Oh, speaking of
they can if they want.
No. Speaking of which, you actually had who was the daughter that came in for your second OSE game last?
Yes. That was
Sam.
Nutt's daughter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
General Nutt's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, he brought her to Claricon. They were playing together at Claricon.
Nice.
She joined in our game on Saturday night. Yeah. Not quite sure what she made of us, but
why are we totally disrespecting Kabuki Kid? What the hell? What's going on, so why are we disrespecting Kabuki Kid? I said on these streams. I didn't mean in gaming, guys. Jesus, I have tons of female players in my games. It's getting them on streams.
I mean, demographically speaking, too. I mean, I just looked at the analytics for my channel. It's 100% male in my viewership, for as small a viewership as I have. Yeah. And according to this, it's all Americans and Canadians. So, where have you been, John?
Ouch. I watch your show.
Evidently, you don't exist as far as YouTube is concerned.
I'm there in your chat on a regular basis.
Which is ridiculous. According to YouTube, you don't exist.
It's sort of the same. I like my analytics tell me most of my 100% of my watchers are male, but that's obviously not true because I have quite a few female watchers.
Yeah, me too.
But it's only based on what people, whether or not they're signed in when they watch, and YouTube can get their analytics. If somebody signed out and they watch on a phone or something, it's not going to pick them up. It
depends on how much information they've given.
They gave YouTube. Google with the account they're using, and there's tons of stuff that factors into it. Because I've got a lot of female watchers as well. I mean, my alternate Monday night game, I have 2 female players in that game. You know what I mean? And I'm always happy to have when they show up, because it really does change things. And especially Jess, because dear God, she's like the least Hang on, I have a
Yeah,
cat.
I knew the analytics
Hi.
were bullshit anyways, because RPG Grandma's in my streams all the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's
These
well, you know
why
what?
we're
It
not
must be
talking
that
about the
John's.
cat dynamic and logistics of why there are more cats watching.
So John must.
So well, Watsy tried when they introduced the Tabaxi.
No, because you need to dangle string in front of your camera more often, and that will get the cat demographic in there.
You just need to have a laser pointer so they think that it's right there, you know.
You're such a bad boy.
So no. John must be using a VPN just because they have him as an American, you know. That's all.
I'm not. No.
No. I'm just teasing for that.
Yeah. So Kabuki Kid, you are a thief, a first edition thief who is very good at hiding in shadows and moving silently. I think. Or are you an assassin with a disguise skill?
Yeah, if we're talking stuff you'd like to do on channels again, I think I would like to actually be able to. One thing I would like to have more of is more like non-streamed content where I'm actually talking about something specific. But I'd have to have an opinion. I mean, it's not that I don't have opinions. I just don't feel like there's a bit of an imposter syndrome, or like the whole like everybody else is doing it well enough anyways. So, yeah.
For me, Bear's doing this at the moment, running live games. I'd like to run a live game on mine, but my issue here is it seems to be that the people who are willing to play the live games just aren't willing to play them at the time that I'm available to run them.
Well, that's the issues with time zones, because we're based here in the United Kingdom. Yeah. So having it on a weekday where you are normally available is going to be completely conflicting to the schedule, as most are going to be working during those hours in the United States.
Or 5 hour difference at least, and that's that's not counting an extra 3 if you're talking about somebody on the West Coast.
And John, let's not forget, we all have enough problems having real life players play together in a game. So you know, the online is the easier way of doing it for most of us. It's trying to get people commit on a weekly basis is hard.
Yeah.
So, but it's something I would like to do at some point. But obviously, I am hamstrung by my own work schedule and times over here. As far as that goes, and it seems simply at the moment, the simple fact that I am busy on Sundays is a nightmare for that sort of thing, because that's when it seems to be most people stream and play.
And John, for you doing stuff early, you know, for me early in the morning, I know that's mid-afternoon for you, but having that makes it really easy for me because I don't feel like I lose my entire day. I'm like 8 a.m. till noon, perfect. I don't, you know, even if I have my son, he tends to sleep late. I'm like, okay. So that's why I like playing those morning games, but I won't play the afternoon games. Or your evening games. So.
Yeah.
My Sundays are just the busiest day out. That's the problem. So I am never free on a Sunday. I've been invited to join so many games on Sundays, and I just have to say no to all of them.
I'm going to be running games on Mondays.
I'm already running a game on a Monday night.
I know.
Already involved in a game on a Monday night.
They'd be sci-fi games anyway, so you wouldn't play.
No, I wouldn't. No.
You need to broaden your horizons, John. You don't have to dive into it. You don't have to embrace it fully, but try it out.
I've come to terms with John's lack of sci-fi interest.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that with everyone. That's the whole reason why we have hundreds, if not thousands, of RPGs out there. It's to tailor to what everyone's particular taste.
I just can't do another fantasy game right now. Not while I'm running one and playing in two.
Because you want that variety out there anyway. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got games like Gamma World, Star Frontiers in the classic games that I'd like to run, and then I've got there are other science fiction games and non-fantasy games I like to run, like Call of Cthulhu. But Monday is a wide open day for me, so it's an obvious day to try and get a game in.
Well, I play, not that I like the system, but I play GURPS every Friday night, and then I play OSC probably every other weekend or so as I'm available. So yeah, I mean, but I'm like, okay, I get both. But I'd like to try a lot of new games too, just like you were saying, Eli. Some of it is I listen to channels just so I can hear different viewpoints or say, oh, I never thought of that. Or what's funny is going back and saying, is that really how the rules are written? Or, you reread the rules and say, no, that's what's in there. Just like, I make fun of Sean there when he's like, no, an orc can't have a charisma above 12. Well, they can, but only to other orcs.
Well, it's funny. I didn't have my books in front of me when you were talking about that, and I had to go look it up. And it's like, fuck, he's right. It's one of those things that it hadn't come up. Like, even when people take orcs or dwarves, they never take anything with a high charisma anyway. So that rule almost never comes into play, and we just go by the chart, and then like it's your point. No, it's like, no, this way. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so I looked it up. It's like, oh crap, he's right. Oh.
Well, you remember when we had the stream that says rules that we get wrong? Now we reference it, and that's one of the things I think that really helps in these communities is to double check on things and like, is that what it really means? And you reread it and like, yeah, I think that's actually what it meant, and that's what a great thing. But just like when you talk about BX. I joke about it is we played it wrong and we loved it. And we go back and like, well, maybe I should have played it as it was written instead of the way we were playing it. Okay, I
would have loved it. You still would have loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for Vancian. I think like I'm in a minority of people who love the Vancian system as it is. Everybody keeps whining.
I like it.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't like the Vancian system if you have to memorize things beforehand, but that's sometimes where I like the Magic because you have more flexibility, so they don't always take a combat spell or something like that, or they feel like they're just sitting back not doing anything. But I don't mind having spell slots. That's just easy to play for a game.
I don't mind Vancian, but I also like other systems. I don't feel the need to like one more than the other or anything like that. It's just they're different games, different rules for Magic, But Vancian is perfectly fine. It's a totally functional Magic system.
Well, the thing with Vancian is it's a very gamist system, and this is why I like it. This is why it works, because it makes the player think about, okay, what are we getting into? What do I need to prepare for? There's part of the challenge. It's not about feeling like a wizard and doing whatever you want. It's about you're playing a game, and this is one of the challenges you have to consider. It's like, sure, you have access to 4 spells, but you can only cast 2 of them. What are you going to learn for the day? And it can be one of those cases where he's like, yes, I chose the right one. I'm glad I chose that read magic because we found the scroll. Now I have 4 other spells to cast.
It works well for games where spells are a little bit more powerful.
The resource management, again, it leads to the gameplay and the fun too, because that going into that dungeon, finding out that you don't have the spell that you need might require you guys pulling back and I'm planning again for another go, and that's part of the story.
Part of the story.
I'm going to bring up one other point here when you're looking at it is, remember how we talked about niche protection? It does the same thing if you have multiple magic users. Because one can do utility spells and the other one can do combat spells, and it allows that to really separate them out without them feeling like they're just redundant.
No, I've seen that in my 2nd edition group where we have a thief mage and a pure mage, and the pure mage has gone full into combat. Like, that is his specialty. It's all about as much destructive output as he possibly can do, while the thief mage has gone into as much utilitarian, as many out of the box thinking as you possibly can. And that's
does great. That's the way it should be,
yeah. Exactly. And it does wonders for the team, because it means you've got all this all like good. You've got all this all like good combinations with the thief, doing all of their thieving things and using their spells to assist not only the combat mage but also the warrior in the group, so that they have as many benefits as possible. It also allows for a lot of like player communication, because now they've got to basically go like, here's what I'm going to be preparing, here's what they're going to be preparing. So I like it for that. Sorry, go on, Omen. Go on.
No. The same thing applies for clerics, where I thought it was fine playing the BX game, and everyone takes Cure Light Wounds. I'm going, that's not the fun spells. Take Protection from Evil. Take these other things that
Bless and all that other stuff.
You guys watch my show. The guy who plays Senec, when he got to level 2, he's like, all right, I get Cure Light Wounds. And I said, it's a trap. It's a trap. Take preventative stuff. And he took Cure Light Wounds first and realized that at such a low level, people were dying before he could cast the spell. And he's like, or then he learned when that first time he cast light on somebody and it blinded them and gave them the win. He's like, oh, this is better.
It is.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I also like.
I don't play D&D, so I don't care.
No, that's what I was going to say. I say I did watch a bit of your stream running against the Dark Master. I didn't watch your Star Trek one because it's sci-fi, but I did watch a bit of
yours.
your.
We know it's okay. You're watching against Dark Master. Okay.
I've watched the first hour or so of
wow, you
the
hung in there.
So I did, yeah. I'm gonna watch the rest of it. But what's the magic system like in against the Dark Master? I didn't notice many.
I have no clue, man. I got one guy playing a spellcaster. He's so far cast one spell, had a backlash of it, and then the Dark Master noticed him, so now he's afraid to cast spells.
Is it like the MERP system where you got spell lists and PowerPoint?
Yeah, it's lores. It's all spell lores. It's exactly the kind of magic system I hate, and there it is. Listen. I'm telling you right now. The more I run against the Dark Master, the less I like it out of the box. I shouldn't say that. The less I like the combat system out of it. It's too crunchy. It's too old school miniatures nonsense wargaming garbage for me. For you guys, it might be right up your alley. You might be like super fans of that stuff. For me, it's boring. I want a dynamic, on the go, hit and run, do things on the fly. I really prefer that more cinematic style of role playing.
So you like that's where you like the Star Trek 2D20 or however it works out.
Really nice. I'm enjoying Star Trek 2D20 so much. It's not 2D12. Eat a bag of dicks. I'm enjoying Star Trek 2D20 so much right now that I'm actually thinking about getting my hands on the Conan PDFs and giving them another try, because when it first came out, I didn't like it, but now I'm sort of feeling like maybe it deserves a second look. And that it might be a good generic fantasy game if reskinned and hacked properly.
And they do have the Horus Cthulhu, which I haven't looked at as much.
I'm not a Cthulhu guy.
No. I meant because I think that they revised a little bit of it for the Conan system to make it, I guess, somewhere in between the Star Trek and the Conan.
Oh, interesting.
So that's what I'm referring to.
I would really like to see Modifius do a generic 2D20 fantasy game. That would
apart
be
from you gaming with ADHD.
Yeah, where are you, Brian? Quit your talking. Get your ass in here, boy.
Wait, we have to have 9, so we have the Hollywood squares, okay?
Yeah, but if I'm center square again, I'm going to start doing my Paul Lynn impersonation. That makes me uncomfortable. Just saying, it's fabulous.
All right, I'll have to become Alf, but
what's going on?
On this note, I am afraid I'm gonna have to quickly bounce out. Need my beauty sleep. Have a good one, everyone.
You've been missing it a lot lately,
go pillaging in the morning.
I have. Yes.
Yeah, it shows.
Bye,
man.
Beating up helpless priests is hard.
I don't know, man. Like, and yes, I know it's funny. I'm wearing a D&D shirt, talking smack about D&D, but I'm just so done right now. I went back to look at Old School Essentials, possibly for my home game, and I was so, shit, I got to do this, and I got to go find something that does this. And I was suddenly resource hunting again for the game the way I wanted it to be. That I just picked up my Pathfinder beginner box and was like, oh yeah, right. I have everything I need for this. I can just run this instead. So it's like D&D, I guess, in some weird way. But yeah.
No. I saw you when you put that up there in your question. I was like, well, just like I have the same feeling with 5e. If I have to do enough hacks to it, I'm just going to pick a different system because I'm putting more work into it than just taking someone else's. I can do some minor tweaks instead of trying to do major tweaks to get where I want.
Hang on, I'm gonna go give Brian the link for the chat.
Oh, okay.
I've put it in the chat.
I'm just sending it straight to him as a PM.
Brian, there are never invites. You just go get it.
He needs to feel special. There was someone else that did that to me too. They were like, "I never get any invites to your thing." I'm like, "Dude, you're in the thread where I post it, and that thread is only accessible by people who do the panels." And he's like, "Yeah, but you know." And then I did that to Chris from the Hilt. I was like, he's like, "Why don't you come on my show? You never invite me." I posted. I'm like, "You never invite me. I want to feel special. I want to be like a nice girl."
So Bear, if you need some PDFs, let me know because I think I have like double because I bought a bunch of.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase my statement. I'm going to go read my pirate collection of PDFs again. That's what I meant to say.
I know. I have legal versions, like double.
And for the first time on Midweek Geek, I introduced to chat Brian.
You've
Okay,
made a
ADHD.
mistake. No, just
You really have.
What's up,
Welcome,
young?
Brian?
Hello, Brian. Welcome to
Yeah.
our side of the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brian.
where were you?
You're at the cool kids table.
Really not, Brian. Don't let
Brian,
them
the
fool you.
most jolly of men on the entire panel here.
And doesn't
We're
play
all John.
fantasy.
Oh wow!
No,
Oh,
He's the
oh,
counter
I
to
don't-
John. The universe is balanced.
no, I don't. I don't prefer
As was
fantasy. I
foretold in
prefer
the ancient
sci-fi,
story.
One.
but I am not opposed to fantasy.
Yeah.
He
There's
was
a
supposed to
difference.
bring
You are the
balance
opposite
to
of
the
John. Do
gaming
you
table.
understand? You are complete. No, he left. No, but he is the opposite of John. He's not opposed to the thing he's not interested in. Unlike John, who is vehemently opposed to the sci-fi.
The science and the fiction, and I don't want it. No.
I don't want it. I don't like it with the superheroing, and I only like the fantasy and the Cthulhu's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a nice
Brian
Cthulhu
Wayman.
you got there.
Thanks for having me, John.
No problem. No problem. No problem. So,
John's running a really subdued show today, where he's not asking like question after question. It's like I've never seen this many pregnant pauses on this show.
Well, he
Ever.
barely has a theme for today, so
Yeah, it's so clear. You're just like, I'm turning on my camera and going, you're in my world now, buddy. Welcome to it.
oh, Nightbot is shouting at Manfred. Manfred, what have you done to annoy the Nightbot?
How do you get all these bots? I want these on my streams. How do I get this stuff? How do you do it?
You have to hate sci-fi.
sell your
Oh,
soul to
Yeah.
YouTube.
Shit, I gotta hate sci-fi.
I downloaded Nightbot yesterday and added it to OBS and linked it to my channel.
Oh, you're doing this through OBS?
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing this with StreamYard, which is why it's now clashing with Stream, the other one I've got. But OBS is connected to my channel.
Huh?
I'm thoroughly confused as well.
OBS talks to my channel.
This is how you lost your empire, just so you're clear. Just so we're clear. You did shit like this on a geopolitical level, and that's how the British Empire collapsed. So I don't know what just happened, but Stenson just burst into flames. Well, we shouldn't have turned all that people.
I was
thought
the
when
guy
he
who
lost-
hates sci-fi just out-teched us all.
Wait. I just thought that John lost his Sith powers, and that's why he lost the Empire.
Right, anyway, I'm going to jump out. Daniel, you've not said very much apart from you've just chuckled a lot since you've been on.
Well,
So you're clearly finding us amusing. But why do you follow our channels?
I finally got. Well,
Is masochism an option?
I I've been doing like online gaming and stuff, and through YouTube I found you guys, and I started watching Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, and that's how I found all you guys.
Is it just as simple as that? You just got onto YouTube, you were bored, you poured yourself another Jack Daniels and Coke, which I know you like doing, and just kicked off your shoes and
Correct. Pretty much, yeah.
Woohoo! Nothing better to do. Nothing
I'm
better to do. Nothing better to do.
We're a time killer. We're a time killer.
I finally got all my chores and wood splitting done, and I had, and
How many cord?
huh?
How many cord of wood did you split?
Oh, dude, you don't want to know.
I do want to know because when I was a kid, I had to chop a lot of goddamn wood. So I'm very
So
curious.
did I. That's
Very
what-
Canadian
yeah.
question.
It's not a Canadian
some-
question; it's a country life question.
Correct. Yes. That's like
something we can be proud of, though, is the fact that
somebody said something earlier about never owning a firearm, and I started chuckling. I'm like, oh, I have enough for everybody on this.
I got better
stream.
things to spend money on.
Yeah,
And little miniature firearms that he can paint.
Not wrong.
I can give each of you 10.
Well, I know plenty of people who could do that too. It's
Yeah, it's a
Anyway,
country,
Daniel,
like you said. You know,
Daniel, one thing I think us YouTube types can be proud about is it's because of our channels and stuff that you've got your family into playing D&D with
correct.
you. And,
Yes.
Oh wow.
and that's something I think we all deserve a round of applause for, because
Oh yeah, my daughter will, like, if I get up to go to the bathroom and get a beverage, and we're doing these shows or like Friday or something, my daughter will jump on the computer and say stupid shit. And that's how it started with us playing D&D, is because she was being a smartass one night and did that. And I'm like, really? So then we started playing the next week.
I'm going to bring up one other thing, which is for all. Well, I was going to say it's never mind.
Wow, that was awesome. How's that brain fart smell? I mean, Jesus. Holy fuck. I was gonna no.
More of a brain shark.
I've never seen Omenal self-censor before. That was amazing.
Brian, you've joined us tonight, and I did throw this question out to everybody else. Why did you set up your channel in the first place?
Honestly, because, well, all right, so it's not really surprising, but I'm a bit right of center politically, as it were. And I got tired of a lot of the nonsense online. And I literally just wanted to create a space that was just positive. I try to avoid politics on my channel. It's not always successful, but like, it'll come up on live streams. But for the most part, I just want to talk about games. I just want to be around people that are talking about games, doing something that's just a little bit positive in this space. There's too much fighting, there's too much negativity, and
Correct.
So if I can at least set my channel that's I hate the term safe space because of how it's been used, but literally just a place where anybody can show up and we're just going to talk about games. We're just going to have fun. That's what I want it to be.
I love that. That's awesome.
It's one of the reasons why I do live streams as well. I try and avoid a lot of those sort of topics. And I do creep in occasionally, but I'm just a wet mop.
It's not. No, actually, Eli is the perfect example. I know there's a ton of stuff that Eli and I disagree with, but I couldn't be more excited about having Eli show up, whether it be on my stream or somebody else's stream, and we just sit and we talk about the games. That's
how it should be.
Yeah. So
Brian, I'm going to ask you, since you said no politics, we have to ask, how is the Klingon Romulan Empire doing?
Well, those
I'm saying that's the in-game politics, which is the only kind of politics I really want anyway.
Exactly. In-game politics is totally fine. But sometimes we have, like, I know I consume way too much political content personally, and sometimes we have to just, set it aside, let it go. So like actually a perfect example, at least for me, on Legion of Myths Discord, like, I like being in there. There's all sorts of great content, but they have like you literally have to specifically request access to any of the channels where you can talk about politics and real life stuff. I sit there like a junkie every time something comes up, and it's like, no. In Legion of Myth, I don't talk about that stuff. I don't want to talk about that stuff, and I have to do it literally to let myself detox.
I know.
For lack of a better way to put it.
I totally agree with you, and my wife would 100% back you, because I guarantee the moment that this ends, I'm going to be watching news shows until I go to bed.
I'll
And
send
it's
it
You
to
can
you.
just log on
watching
my
this.
channel and hang out for the Four Color Cafe
Oh,
tonight,
there
and
you
that'll be on until you go to bed. So look at that. You don't have to go watch
All
it.
right, I'll do that then. That works. I'll see you there.
I'll
So
protect
this-
you. I'll save you from the politics by discussing Star Trek for 2 hours.
So this
Because that doesn't get political.
Shut up, Brian.
It's fantasy politics.
No,
yeah,
okay. So this was my point
all politics
from
is fantasy.
earlier.
Everyone
Which
keep
is-
talking so Omanal can't make his point because it's
Oh,
really
I know.
fun
So-
watching
so-
him try
so-
to get a word in edgewise
So-
right
so
now.
because Bear was talking about how everything's collapsing. Let's be honest, it's more fun watching you guys and listening to you guys talk about subjects I care about.
Thank you, universe and internet gods.
Because of corporate media telling me what I should watch and care about. And that's the other aspect is I'd rather watch you guys for hours on end than spend all the other time doing
That's a
stuff that
good
just gets
point.
you aggravated.
Yep.
Yeah, precisely. Yes. And there's so much about the world that does get you wound up. Whatever your leanings are, there's something to get wound up about. So yeah, these sort of places should be a place where we can just talk about things we enjoy.
Well, that's why I actually changed my work schedule so I could play on Saturdays. Because I used to never work on Sunday. I now work on Sunday so I can take Saturday off and play the game.
Okay. I started a job where I told them I couldn't work specific days. They said no problem. And then the first schedule came out and I had to work a specific day, which was the night that I was running at the time D&D for some guys. And they're like, so you're going to miss the game? I said, no. They don't know me. My uncle is going to die on Thursday and I'm going to get a text message after getting to work where I have to report a death in the family and go home.
See, I get to make my own hours and come and go as I please, so it's
That
pretty
must
cool.
be nice.
That's
Yeah.
Let's go chop some more wood there, smart guy.
good.
Yeah. It's a shitty job, literally, because I clean crappers and pissers, but I at least get to make my own hours.
I get the feeling you're not from Beverly Hills.
No.
Rappers and pissers.
No, Daniel's one of our Saturday stalwarts. I
Nice.
don't know what time of day you do you open that bottle of Jack Daniel's for breakfast. I don't know, but
Correct.
It seems like you do, and he just sits and drinks it all day and plays OSE.
Here's the funny
On a
part.
Saturday.
Actually, he may sound not like it, but he's actually only 25 years old.
Yeah, I wish.
That's what the Jack Daniels does to you, you know?
I wish.
That's why Lynchburg's a dry county.
Bear's only 21. I mean, come on.
Listen, I've been through some shit.
I know.
I just posted this on my Discord, and I'm sorry to break the news to you, but apparently I've been kicking around since at least 1938. I'm going to share the screen. If you want to share it, John, go ahead.
Oh, this will be
But
cool.
apparently I was the ghost of Christmas Present in the 1938 Christmas Carol.
Hey, Bear, did you age very gracefully?
Thank you very much.
Well, it's always today for him.
Always.
Fun connection. Ghost of Christmas Present. You guys know Onion Buns Bumbles Up from my game. Well, the guy who plays him is currently going to be playing the Ghost of Christmas Present in a production of Christmas Carol down the road.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
See, what really happened is Bear's birthday's on the 29th of February, so he only ages at 1/4 the rate of the rest of us.
I bathe in the blood of virgins, which is getting harder and harder to find. Let me tell you, my
Ever
just
since
boring.
OnlyFans came on the scene.
yeah, seriously, it's just like, oh my god. That's why I'm so puritanical against thoughts.
I mean, I'm 52.
Nightbot really doesn't like Manfred.
I
I need
say
to tweet.
don't disable it and watch Manfred and Nightbot fight.
I need to go into the, to go into the Nightbot settings. Sorry, Manfred.
I wager 50 quatloos.
You
I
posted
just want to say
those
for listening,
fat
Slan and
Vegas
Kabuki, check
Gandalf.
your private messages in Discord.
Sergeant Dan, that was mean, brother. That's just mean.
Oh. And John,
Wow.
One thing that led to me finding all your guys' sites, I can't remember. I think it was yours I found first, but I'm not sure. But then there were like the links and the references and everything else. And that's how I ended up becoming members on everybody else's YouTube sites.
We share the love. We do.
Yes.
We try to share the love. And Hungar has just come straight in. Welcome, Hungar. And you've just done a test that I was going to do myself because I wanted to see whether it was Stream Elements that was filtering out the kick him in the nuts, or whether it's YouTube that's filtering out kick him in the nuts. And the fact that I haven't seen any messages saying kick him in the nuts. Has anyone seen any kick him in the nuts messages since you typed in that exclamation mark?
I sent one Saturday morning. I don't know if it went through.
Well, if it doesn't come up, it's definitely YouTube that's filtering kick him in the nuts. So I need to. It's YouTube that's being a dick in this one, unfortunately.
Put a Z on the end of nuts, man. Just put 2 T's in a Z, and it won't even know it.
I think it's the caps and the fact that it's an aggressive phrase and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I kick him in the nuts. Exactly. Exactly, Omanel. It's allowing you to do it.
Hey, Hunger, I sent you the link in a private message on Discord since I don't know if you're online or, whatever.
Here comes Santa Claus. Here
Santa Claus away. Exactly.
Hungar's not feeling very well, so I don't know if he
and
wants to join it. I
think he saw his...
I think he saw his
right down
video
Florida way.
Where
they're not paying any attention to me, Hungar.
All we do is the nerds.
Yeah, Hungar's sick. Okay, we know, and we just want to make Hungar feel normal and not like we're, handmaiden servants doting on him. Hungar, man, we love you. We all love Hungar. Who here doesn't love Hungar? I dare any of you not to love Hungar.
It's an acquired.
Shut up, Brian. You're my Wesley now. Shut up, Wesley.
Alas, I must be going.
Aw, Eli.
Well, I have to work.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Later, folks.
Bye, Eli.
I'm gonna have to bounce eventually, not yet. Just so I
me
can
too, but
go
It's a
get
group shot of us from Claricon. So from left to right is myself. Right next to me, that's Grumpy Old Slan. Then we've got John from Tales of the Manicore, Daniel from Bandits Keep, Todd from Hexpress, and of course the Dungeon Minister.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta watch that
Very
video.
good.
I saw that posted and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
So I see what you mean by everyone being tall, because I know you're about 6'3", so the Dungeon Minister's quite tall, and Todd's clearly very tall. I know Slan's not short, and he looks short in that picture.
Well, he's also in the back.
Yeah, you've heard of this thing called perspective, John?
Yeah.
Well, also, don't forget, we live in North America where there's actually room to expand and grow.
Yes, as I've been doing for most of my adult life. It's quite nice. I've been expanding.
To give you an idea of how short I am, I would probably just about reach, my top of my head would just about reach the middle of Todd's ampersand.
Oh, okay.
little balding twink. Look at you.
Yeah.
We'll put Hobbit feet on
bad.
it so it makes sense.
Well, you know what this means, John? Is you're always in the front of the picture. That's what it means.
Absolutely.
You know what, John? The bad thing is you're getting to the age where you're shrinking, so you're going to get even shorter.
Yeah.
Not if you don't measure yourself.
I've lost an inch in the last 7 or so years, so yeah.
So
And
next
that's not
year,
just a
when
height.
you're here in Canada, we're going to get everybody, every one of us. We're going to get everybody at Claricon. It's going to be a massive photo.
Oh, wait. If you can do that, what you have to do is you also have to make it look like it's a mug shot so we can see everyone's height. In the background.
Step forward and say the line, please.
Yeah.
I can just bring my mug shots. That was plural.
I think it'd be great if we can get a massive group shot of all of us. It'd be like, we'll do it right.
I am still completely invested in doing whatever it takes to get as many of us there for Claricon next year, including the Arizonan, by the way.
Kim is a bit nervous that we'll go, and she's like, I'm just gonna blend into the background. I'm like,
Are you
no.
kidding?
No,
we're gonna
you
build a throne for her. It's gonna be made out of pots and pans.
Does Kim realize that her being a woman makes her right up there with women in electrical engineering? I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Hey, never mind that, man. She's just more. Hey. Hang on, I'll be right back. I got to join Hungar on something. Hang on.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Are they gonna have a Santa off?
What's up, guys?
I'm just waiting for Hungar to have an axe with it, and they're like, Santa's coming to town.
Hungar, you look like Santa Claus, but when you spoke then, you sounded like me doing a demon from Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, there you go.
Santa Claus is coming to town, bitches.
Foolish Christmasers, your mistletoe is no match for my toe missile.
I'm just expecting, Hungar there is being the patriot, and you see all of the revolutionary soldiers, and then you see Hungar.
Has anyone else heard the Weird Al song, "The Night Santa Went Crazy"?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
play
we
it
had
every
right there.
Christmas. Yeah. That and the very beginning of Scrooged, where they're coming in with Lee Majors.
Yeah.
I like Weird Al's "It's Christmas at Ground Zero."
Christmas at Ground Zero.
That one's good too. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because we'll actually never. I just realized we'll never suffer from Whamageddon at Christmas time again because my wife basically just made her own Christmas playlist. So if we get in the car, we just put that one on instead of turning on the radio. So it's got better songs, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
My workmate whams me every single year, unfortunately.
My wife.
I've been drinking a lot of herbal tea, trying to get my voice to get back to its melodiousness.
Yes. Now,
It's true. I
I
work
some
for
cans of
Hungar.
that. It tastes like water.
Oh my god.
I work for you, Santa.
My wife, once the Christmas music starts, every day on the way to and from work has to play the Christmas music. And mind you, it's a 20-minute drive to work. And I swear to God,
because his elf bait actually finally worked.
I swear to God, she actually slows down and drives slower when the Christmas music is on, and it drives
just
me
feels like it.
insane.
Well, as soon
Hungar,
as
when I used to-
November 15th hits, they let Mariah Carey out of her cage.
Yeah.
the seal is broken and the evil rises. Listen, when I used to work security at this one place in Vancouver on graveyard shift at Christmas time, I had an 8-hour shift and they were playing a 3-hour loop of Christmas music, and the controls were locked in the building manager's office and we couldn't get access to turn it off. So I would hear the same 3 hours twice and a quarter every night.
You're still
5 days a week. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time is the most evil thing ever created by Paul McCartney. Hands down.
You know what those the other part I think of, with Hungar is if anyone's watched the American Dad version of whenever they have to fight Santa.
I had the Lobo paramilitary Christmas guide when I was younger, where the Easter Bunny hires Lobo to assassinate Santa Claus. And it was, but I figured I've got the look. I'm like,
Oh yes.
I've got the whole tracksuit.
Oh. You know what? The only thing you're missing is the pink bunny suit that they had to wear in
Christmas Tale.
Yeah.
One year before I got sick, I had a Honda CBR 500R crotch rockets.
That's a nice bike.
And I put my Santa Claus gear on, and I rode to all the nursing homes in the town I lived in and handed out candy canes. And it just made all the old people's, like, they loved it.
I got a better idea, Hungar. You and me, I'll get a better costume to go with the hat. You do yours, and we'll drive to all the strip clubs and give out candy canes.
Oh, that's the name for it now, candy cane.
Yes, it is, because it's
Giggity,
sweet. All right, this is too hot for my head. And the cat's staring at it like he's going to jump on me.
Bear, you don't play Dungeons and Dragons. Why are you wearing a Dungeons and Dragons expert set t-shirt?
Because I used to play Dungeons and Dragons a lot. I'm not going to throw out my shirt.
He's just on break.
I'm not playing D&D anymore. Well, I guess I'll throw out my shirts. Like, it costs money, man.
I'm going to log off.
Dude, Hungar, take care of yourself.
I'm going to want
Have a good night.
And if I talk a lot, my voice is not going to get any better.
So just get better, Hungar. That's all we care about.
Yeah, I got to
in England, that means fuck off, just in case you're wondering. By the way, you're doing this to them.
Yeah, that means the same as that here.
Yeah, because of the English longbowmen.
Well, yeah, and because Americans have to do everything faster, right? So, you know.
But, yeah, I'm going to rock the show Friday. So, everybody have a great night.
I get better.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Matt Thompson, we were talking about having what we do with our YouTube channels and what we'd like to do and that sort of thing, but it sort of just drifted.
You didn't ask me what I do with my YouTube channel. If you'd asked me that, my answer would have been regret it.
But you met me that way.
And now you know why.
Why did you have to give him that opening? You knew he was going to go through that door.
Because that's what makes Brian my friend, Sean. He plays along, Sean.
I wouldn't have met Sean or Cody or Yog or Omenel or any of the other weirdos.
I'm not taking responsibility for this shit.
I am ambiently normal around you all.
I'm going to get all lovey and nice and sickly sweet now because I'm going to say the best thing about having a YouTube channel is the simple fact that a lot of people who follow the channel ended up piling into Discord, and now we play loads of games. And that's the best thing about it.
I don't.
Don't you?
Not on your channel.
GMs are players too, Bear.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, brother.
Well, I tried I know that he loved Marvel superheroes, but he says I'm always DM, so he couldn't play that.
The thing is that actually, Yog's correct. I've had my channel for a couple of years. I've I cover all sorts of stuff, not just role playing. But I honestly haven't played an RPG in years. And now I'm in probably the best game ever, playing Star Trek with Bear and Sean and Cody and Zane. And
bad news, it's going to start sucking next session. I've made
I agree with Brian because I didn't play for 23 years. And then through YouTube, I discovered you guys. And now every Saturday, I adjusted my work schedule. And my boss, they had to adjust. My boss and the owner had to adjust their schedule because I refused to work last Saturday because I was like, I'm not working Saturday morning. I'm like, that's my thing. I'm doing Saturday morning and deal without me or don't do it. So they had to cancel.
If it wasn't for Angus, casualty rate should be well over 50%.
I don't get the joke.
I originally planned
Angus is a 4th level dwarven cleric.
Now I get the joke.
And I maxed out on hit points for my first 3 levels.
And he's got a 17 constitution or 18 constitution as well.
Unlike
so
Sean's poor character that can't even level up.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Angus has more hit points than the whole party combined.
Yeah.
In an armor class of 2.
And
So,
he'd like
yeah.
to take a moment to talk about the dwarven god of hammers with you.
Pretty much.
It's no. It's Galaxy Quest where they have the by Grognok's hammer or whatever.
Grabthar's hammer.
By Grabthar's hammer, you will be avenged.
The thing is, the idea of that Saturday game was that multiple people would run it, and we'd all have different characters in each group, and we'd all play have a little folder of characters. What Daniel did is he managed to wangle his way in so he could play the same character in all the sessions, and thus he's now got a 4th level cleric, and we're running around with 1st level, 2nd level characters still, and Daniel's like there with his mace, his hammer, bashing things, going, "Ha, look at me, I'm hard," and we're like, "Hooray for Daniel's character, hooray for Angus, he's marvelous, keep us alive."
No, you really did sound like a hobbit with that hooray. That was good. I get it now. Hooray!
Actually, what's funny is
Hi, Kim.
Orlok hasn't died yet. That's really amazing to me. It's
Yeah.
like,
I gotta build up my other guys though.
yes.
I gotta start working on them.
I gotta wait till next year to get Ode back, into play. After we played the Christmas, I guess reincarnation one, and we kind of won and we kind of lost because we didn't have to kill the little girl. So
Gingerbeard ran us through a DCC style funnel.
Lamentations of the Flame.
But he used a Lamentations of the Flame Princess module that we had to solve in order to get our souls back and be resurrected. This was for our dead characters. We've all got a few dead characters, and we completely failed. And we're still our souls are still in purgatory.
But we didn't sell our souls for that either. To be fair,
no. The solution was to kill a little girl, which we didn't do. So
we won. We just didn't come back to life.
No.
I'm gonna say it. I'm not into the grimdark edgelord shit at all. Like at all. I've just lost all interest in it. It's so fucking boring and trite and 15-year-old angst boy stuff that I'm just like, it bores me, man.
Okay. Yog,
it was quite a silly adventure, to be honest. It just had a little bit of a dark edge to it.
Which god does your character pray to?
Which one?
Well, don't they all pray to the same one?
St. Nicholas.
That's right. Yes. So it's all tongue in cheek whenever we're playing for this whole thing. Especially
I'm not talking about your play. I'm talking about Lamentations of the Flame Princess. I'm talking about Morkborg. I'm talking about all this stuff. It's like, we get it. If you all lived in Norway, you'd be death metal Norwegian guys. We get it. That's okay. You're angry that you were born. We understand. I guess it's better they're doing this than freaking out and shooting up someplace. So that's a positive I can take out of it. But I'm just exhausted by it. It's just it's like the in the 90s all over again. It's just like ugh.
I would say my the one I run on a Saturday is completely the opposite, because Sean. I mean, you know the solution to level 4 of my dungeon, 4 calling birds, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
What were the 4 calling birds?
Yes,
Harpies.
Dolly, Alanis, Susanna Hoffs, and who was the other one?
Olivia Newton-John. And if you made your saving throw against a harpy, you heard shriek. If you failed the saving throw, you heard me singing physical, ironic, walk like an Egyptian, or Jolene.
Fun fact, and you've all heard the shriek.
Yeah. Funner fact, you all now have an insight to John's 80s spank bank.
Don't forget the bangles.
Well, that's Susanna Hoffs.
Yeah, I can't decide which sister in the Bangles I'm more attracted to, the guitarist or the drummer. I'm just like, every time I see them, I'm like,
neither of those.
John likes the redhead. I can't remember what her name is.
Mickey, Michael.
No, it's the lead singer I like. It's the lead singer.
Yeah,
Why do you
Susanna
have
Hoffs.
to choose?
Hey,
Why do you have
you're
to
part of the
choose?
problem and why the Bengals broke up, John. She was never the lead singer. They all took turns singing on different songs, and then guys like you made Susanna Hoffs the sex symbol, and that broke the band
That's
up.
who it was. Yeah.
You know who
There
her
you go,
uncle is?
John. You
Do
can
you
now
know who
take the
Susanna
blame
Hoffs'
for break
uncle
up
is?
the Bengals.
Hey, John. You know your obsession, Susanna Hoffs. Do you know who her uncle is?
No.
Leonard
Okay.
Nimoy, Spock. That's why he appeared in
Really?
the Going Down to Liverpool video. He did it as a favor to
Wow.
her.
Oh
I
wow!
didn't know that.
Yeah, sci-fi's all around you, John. Just give in.
And
I'm gonna check out my supper. I'll be right back.
awkward
yes.
silence.
Yes.
No, it's a pause. We're just
a pause.
pausing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Gives me time to make a drink.
No, there's only so much that we need. We can't have too much of Brian's laughter. It will overpower everything. So
That's true.
Because he's so jovial. We just need him. He would be like the greatest Santa ever once his beard whitens. See right there.
Now a little deeper, Brian. A little deeper.
Yeah.
That's fair. Sorry, I'm still waking up. I don't have anything to contribute on the musical front.
It's all good. We're in the ramble phase anyway. If you know
Yeah.
John's streams, we get to the 6:30 mark, and we're just rambling. We've been rambling now as it is for the last 20 minutes. So the topic has pretty much been burned out.
I thought you've been rambling for at least the last 2 hours.
Yeah, most of the streams we rambling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even Sexy's just like, this is supposed to be the ramble stream.
I mean, I guess if chat has any questions about our channels, because we're having the conversation about YouTubing.
Absolutely.
Let 'em rip.
Absolutely. Chat. Yeah. Let any questions about channels. Tell us what you want to see from us.
Wait,
So
this
what's
is the ramble stream. So therefore, in the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair. No.
Good tune.
So
Yeah.
what is your
Look at John. John has no fucking clue what I'm talking about.
what
Don't
is
listen to
Ramble
Zeppelin.
on by Led Zeppelin, John.
I actually,
They're from your country.
I actually listened to that today.
Oh, nice.
so what is your greatest regret of YouTubing that you wish you hadn't done?
Showed up here? No, I mean, no, teasing John.
John has the kick button at his fingertips.
That's true.
You know that, right?
I do. Honestly, I don't know if I don't really have any regrets. I know Kim wishes I would do more projects around the house instead of YouTube, so there's one regret there, but
So I believe I said yesterday that I want you to take me for walks.
did anyone hear that?
Sounds like you're getting big.
Yeah, no. No, she said I'm supposed to take her on more walks instead of YouTube. So
Oh, well, you know what?
Kim go walkies?
yeah, Kim go walkies.
I need a walk yet.
This is going to sound horrible, with or without the leash.
Wait, what?
Oh wow! I hope she did
Bad,
not,
Omanal.
I
Bad.
hope
bad,
she
bad,
did
bad,
not
bad.
hear that.
I have headphones, not speakers. So
Oh, okay. No, it was with or without the leash for taking her for a walk. I know you have 3 kids.
Yeah, but
maybe
which one
try
is
to go for a
leash?
fourth.
I was gonna say, depends on the day. We're just gonna leave it there.
And we all know, as Sean pointed out, Brian's probably the one wearing the leash. Brian go walkies?
You good boy. You good boy.
No. But actually, one thing I will say, I actually kind of agree with Bear as far as the grimdark thing. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I did a lot of Warhammer in the early 2000s, man.
That's why I walk like this.
I mean, I played a lot of Warhammer, but it's just like it got to the point where it's like, I'm sorry, everything is depressing. Life sucks, death sucks, and it's just gonna keep sucking, the whole time. And so it's like, give me a game with just a little bit more hope, a little bit more. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be like all bright and shiny and next generation, sterile.
Well, this is why you play orcs in Warhammer 40K.
Jay, I can answer that. Is my only regret is that I deleted my original channel after I got ratioed into the oblivion by fucking critters because I dared to not sing the praises of Critical Role and actually have issues with their cartoon trailer. And then I got fed up and I went, fuck this. And I nuked everything. And then a month later, I'm like, all right, I'll make a new channel. Fuck it. And I kind of regret some of the videos I lost as a result of that. There were some really
I found the solution to this is you get them to block you, and because they don't like it when you fight them back in a clever way. And the way I got there was only ever one who used to, and sometimes, I mean, we all know L. Sometimes he was very constructive, but a lot of the time he was there going nit. So
no, Brian, John. I reviewed the Critical Role trailer as a reaction video and then gave my opinions about how Scanlan and his player annoy the living shit out of me. And if I was at a table with that guy, I would kick him out of my fucking house because I'd want to slap him, and I would prefer to use the non-violent path. Okay. And I got fucking brutalized with hundreds of comments from critters telling me that I came here to watch a review of a video, not listen to you disparage their character and who they are as people, and they just went off on me. And then they went on a downvote wave across all my videos.
Hey, it's an engagement.
Like, holy fuck, it was insane. It was like, how dare I? Oh my. But like critters, man, they're a fucking cult. You know what I mean? They're not a fandom. They're a cult.
I was going to say about with L, I just made him a bad guy in our OSE game, and the players took great delight in murdering him. And then he blocked me, and he's gone ever since.
L? My technique for L now is just to sing his praises every time where I'm on a video and he shows up. Anything bad he says to him, I go, "Oh, Elle, you're so sweet. I love you too." Just like I just do that, and he's just stopped talking to me now.
Yeah, trolls. I mean, you're not going to avoid them. Trolls they're gonna turn up. You just gotta either ignore them or do what Bear does, just call them out.
Oh, wait a minute, Sean. There's your fourth character. You just have to create a troll now.
Terry the troll.
Terry the troll.
I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't attracted any trolls yet.
You'll get there. Because you've Brian, made it when a troll starts harassing you.
You're just too lovable, Brian. I mean, that's...
Brian, picking on you is like kicking a puppy, man. Come on.
My life would seem to say otherwise, but
no,
I get what you're saying.
Have I never told you my theory on how I know God is a woman?
I'm just going to say it straight up, say you're wrong, but okay.
Horrible sexist Quebecois shit. This is legit, okay? I figured out if God was a man, he'd have just killed me by now. He'd just gone, enough of this asshole. Done. And I would be dead. But because God's a woman, I get tortured and tortured and tortured. And then every now and then she feels really bad about what she's doing. So she gives me some good stuff and I get happy again. And she goes, oh, fuck that guy. He's happy. And she goes right back to torturing me. And it just goes on forever and ever and ever.
You know what, though? I always thought it was this way, which is my goal was, I always thought God was a trickster. And my whole point was, as long as I remain somewhat interesting, he won't kill me. It's the boring people who tries taking out first. So
I disagree.
I need to go to the toilet again.
It's like, here, I'll give you cancer and you'll die in 6 months. No, fuck that. Diabetes. Let that linger for 15 years. Enjoy that. Like,
and here's prostate cancer on top of it. You're like, oh, great.
Here, you're going to get into the government program for that bariatric surgery. Oh, thanks. I'm going to be able to fix my life and get things off. Okay, now I'm going to put COVID and lock you down for 2 years at the prime weight loss period.
Oh, man.
Fun. We did.
Now to get him kicked off of you.
Sean, you're in charge.
Oh, he's back.
Damn it. Sean was in charge for a minute.
Wrong button.
I'm just
squandered it.
You know what I'm waiting for, Brian? Is one day if you just give Kim a beard and she comes on, try and act like you, and that would be hilarious.
Okay, that would be some hilarious shit.
No, I don't think we'll go that far, but no, I have a feeling that eventually she's going to end up on more of these streams. We'll see.
Well, she was on mine the other day.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She said, "I thought you were going to say I was going to end up on Dateline."
Wow. I think it's more likely Brian's going to end up on Unsolved Mysteries. A Mormon gamer from the Southwest, a family man.
What was the other one? City Confidential or whatever, when they come over and like, a humorous role players, mysteriously,
CSI.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, did you guys ever watch City Confidential? I watched the one where they had Lobster Boy and how he was killed or something like that. Like, what?
I don't think I've even heard of that one.
The fuck is a lobster boy?
That's what they. That's
How
what they
high
call.
are
He
you
was,
right
he was
now?
in in one of the the carnivals, and his hands were kind of fused together, and so they called him Lobster Boy. And so then they started going back through like his history, and they had Monkey Girl on there and a few other of the oddity.
What do you
freaks.
watch, Omen
Yeah,
Owl?
are you sure this just wasn't a bad acid trip where you fell asleep with the TV on?
It was called City Confidential. It used to be on History Channel or whatever, about 20 years ago. It was awesome. Yeah, it was like, who killed Lobster Boy? I mean, it was right up there, with people wondering about Tiger King.
All right, I just opened one of the 10 boxes and got a Misty, so we won.
Oh, so that means that she's not dead. With the Schrodinger cat.
This is the Schrodinger cat. This is Misty, the Schrodinger cat. That's right. Notice hates everything that's happening right now. But just the last 5 minutes, butting my leg for attention. You got the attention. Are you happy? No, you are not happy. All right, go on. Well, John, what's going on, brother? What the hell happened to our show here, buddy?
I think he's trying to make sure that the bathroom's still open.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Getting in while he can. We figure he has a wife and a daughter, and this time of the night for him, he's probably fighting for the bathroom.
Hey, it's still going. City Confidential is still going on now.
Ask me how I know about
They did
that.
a season in 2021, but they haven't done anything since.
Okay. Well, our goal is not to be on that. That's our real point.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I missed when the History Channel was the Hitler Channel.
Oh,
That was when it was at its peak.
I missed when
Everything,
the
World
History
War
Channel
II.
actually used
Sorry?
to do history, instead of like American Pickers and this other stuff. Ooh.
So he got himself a pint.
Ooh, that's
Real
a
beer, not that
bingo.
American. Well, he was drinking.
But is it a real pint? Is it 20 ounces?
It was half-liter can, so not quite a pint, because our pints
Comes in
proper
pints?
size and yours are too small.
No, Lord of the Rings, nobody? Wow, you guys.
Okay. Yes, no, I
Ooh,
remember.
nerds.
I don't pick up on film quotes very quickly. I have. It's straight out of the fridge, Mac Thompson. It's Guinness. Guinness is meant to be chilled. Straight out
Do
of the
you
fridge.
hate films as well as sci-fi and superheroes?
No, I don't hate films.
And you don't like horror, right? Other than Call of Cthulhu?
I like reading and listening to horror and playing horror, but I don't watch it. So there's a difference.
Have you done your homework yet and watched the 13th Warrior?
No.
All right. Well, when you get here to Canada, we're sitting you down and you're watching it. You realize that.
And I'm going to sit there and explain shit to you as you're watching it.
So Sean,
And drive
he's
you
only,
insane.
so Sean, he's only up to the 7th warrior. He has 5 more to go. So
How many beers do I need before I experience this?
Okay, dude, it's a good movie.
It'll put
It's
you
not
in
a
the
piece of
mood.
shit.
I'm talking about experiencing Bear explaining it all to me.
I'm going to put you in a sleeper hold you're never getting out of. Do you understand?
You got to catch me first.
No, I don't. I just have to leave a cleverly put trap of beer and, I don't know, salted pork. And you'll be like, oh.
It'll be under a box propped up with a stick. You'll still fall for it.
It'll just be a nice chair. And then I'll be coming up behind him like the Undertaker. You know what I mean?
And yes, I'm little, so I'll
That's
fall into
funny.
the trap. Yeah, I know.
Well,
Boom,
the real question for John is if he was to magically be transported into Merp, what would he be?
I'd be a hobbit, for God's sake.
He just said that he barely comes up to some guy's chest. Of course, it's a hobbit.
Clearly a hobbit.
I've got a little round belly growing. I've got hairy feet, and I eat too much and drink too much. I'm not very tall. There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Don't have to anymore.
Proper beer. I mean, the other stuff I was drinking, I can drink it, but I can taste that. That's the difference, right? So, what's coming up on your channels in the near future, if you have anything planned?
The Clericon recaps. It's going to be a 2-parter. I gotta do. I got the notes down, but I got to write them up and record them. So we're starting from scratch on those. That's my next project.
Well, you may be surprised because it's sci-fi, but I am going to read that book that Halakar has suggested, that short story.
Which one?
I have no mouth. I have no mouth, but I must scream. That's the next I'm going to. That's next I'm going to record. Yes. So, Nerdy Yoga, I have just started doing readings for YouTube. So it's taking me a long time to edit them, but they will start appearing. But I'm going to record that next week. But I've got 2 episodes of the Call of Cthulhu to edit first, which is going to take a long time because it's really, really, really fiddly to get it right. Anyway,
well, Sean, I'm not. Sorry, John, I'm not sure how long it takes you to do your Dragon magazine reviews, but I always enjoy those.
It takes as long as it takes you to watch them, pretty much.
Oh,
they're really quick.
Well, that's my
really,
point. There's a hint,
They're really. You don't need a script for them. I mean, you're literally reading through it as I'm reading through it for the first time. So there you go.
I can't wait till you get to the 50s. Is what the 60s, stuff like that. So.
But
yeah, I don't edit videos. That sounds horrible. So pretty much anything I post is either live or just stream of consciousness and upload.
If it's a review or some sort of critique or some sort of argument I'm putting forward, then I do write a script and I do edit the video because I like to put in pictures and things like that, and just try and make it stand out a little bit more. I don't edit my magazine read-throughs unless something goes on outside that interrupts me. Because occasionally, recently we've had building work going on just up the road, and I've had to suddenly just cut it and go and sit here and swear to myself for 10 minutes. Or if, say, for example, the kids walks in the room while I'm trying to record that, I'll stop it there. But what I'm having to edit is I'm reading a bit of Lovecraft. It's trying to get me reading more because I'm guessing your name is because of something you suffer from. And I have a little bit of that as well. And I'm not very good at reading because there's so many distractions around me.
Right.
So actually putting them on the screen and reading them out to record them is my way of reading them properly. So it's good for me as well. But the editing on those is a pain because I don't know if you've ever read any Lovecraft. He did not know how to punctuate. Some of his sentences are 5 lines long with multiple verbs in, and you have to read it 4 or 5 times to have any idea where the inflections have got to be in the sentence. It's an absolute nightmare to read. So most of the sentences in there I have read out 4 or 5 times, and I have to try and then piece together the best version of it for the read through.
There's an art to voiceover and narrative readings. So you keep doing it, you figure it out. And you get Lovecraft, as you say, even trickier because of the way he wrote.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
That's why
something I'm learning.
Yeah, well, it's like Oscar was saying earlier. Get Audacity. You'll find the editing will be much easier than what you've been using.
Stephen King's probably the easiest of the writers to read because he writes in a very conversational way. So you can it's almost like speaking, right? It's much easier.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably picked one of the hardest authors in terms of trying to get through his stuff as a first one to try. It's difficult, but hey ho.
I'm just waiting for you to do. I'm just waiting for you to do Lewis Carroll and his made up words. So.
'Twas Brillig and the Slithy Toves. All that sort of stuff.
You're laughing at that, but that's the my son just finished memorizing that poem, and so I'm waiting for him to get on the Spider and the Fly.
Yeah, but it's actually interesting that you bring that up. I think that's like I've been doing something a little similar, but I still won't edit. Like I was digging around on the internet one day and ended up finding basically some Star Wars choose your own adventure stories. And so what I started doing on my channel, which I've been bad because I haven't done one in a few weeks, but basically I'll read the segment and then let the viewers comment what decision they should make.
You copycat. You absolute copycat. I've been doing that for about 18 months.
Oh, I mean, I started it maybe about 7-8 months ago, but I'll be honest, I didn't know you at the time, so
that's awesome. The right way.
You got the backs, but
I've got the backs. Yes, there we are. There's
that's
just
awesome.
some of them. Just some of the books. Yeah, we've been doing that for Friday nights on my channel for over a year now. Well over a year.
Do you do it live or do you just because like I said, mine I just record it and upload it, and then
we do it live
to come in.
We do it live. Chat make the decisions as we go along.
No, I plan my work week around Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Honestly, I do.
We played those on it as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's
Daniel's a regular groupie.
Yeah.
That's
Don't let him backstage.
If we just had Bear do Audible, audiobooks, then
that would be the worst thing. Me doing audiobooks would be really bad because I would just fall asleep while I was reading them.
That was a really good.
Yeah, but you've got a good really voice good for it. So
okay,
Red Bull and start reading.
That's a really good one. That was a nightmare.
Well, I heard it.
That one sucked.
Well, you said it was pretty good.
It was fun, but oh my lords,
the passages were too long. There was too many sections where there was like you'd read 3 or 4 pages. They would just say, "Now turn to page 200," and you'd read 3 or 4 more pages, and then have one decision,
and then we die.
And then we die.
Right. So John would read for 20 minutes, and then we die.
Got it. All right. I hate to do this since we just started having a conversation, but I have been told by Kim that I have to go eat, so I will.
What is
damn you, Kim? Damn you!
Why is she trying to keep you alive, Brian?
So Brian, remember you have to take her for a walk afterwards.
Yes, exactly. Walkies afterwards. Walkies. I appreciate her keeping me alive, Bear. And what did you say, Sean?
It's 10 minutes to John's pumpkin hour anyway. So
there we go. So, anyways, John, thanks for having me. Great to hang out with you guys, and we'll see you later.
See you later, Brian.
Bye.
Mac. So far, all I've read so far. I put my first one up a couple of months ago, and it was me reading his shortest one, Nyarlathotep. And I've spent the last couple of months recording in chunks The Call of Cthulhu. It's about 3 hours of audio, which I need to trim down. It'll end up being about 1 hour and 10 minutes, I think, when it's all trimmed down. I posted the chapter 1 up earlier this week, which I don't think was particularly my best reading, finest hour reading wise. I think chapter 3 is going to be the best one, but as Sean says, it's learning. It's taking time. I'm trying to learn the pacing and how to get the inflections right. But any feedback is good feedback as far as I'm concerned. On my channel. So there you go. There you go.
So Bear, what's on the 4-color cafe for tonight?
Star Trek. We're gonna have buddy of mine's gonna be on from the old TrekRPG.net boards and whoever else shows up, and we're just gonna talk about Star Trek role playing in general and just the the games that were good, the systems, the differences, why we all love Star Trek, why it's important for us. I want to see if I can get the lowest viewer count possible in a single stream.
Oh, wait! You got to have Star Wars in there, so then you can get the people rage quitting when they find out Star Trek.
Wow, have you met me? I'm not a troll.
Oh, okay.
I loved R2D2 in Star Trek.
Well, in 2009 when we went flying by the Enterprise's view screen, I agree.
Hey, I loved it with Fanboys. Where they had William Shatner.
Finish that thought, Omanal. Finish that thought. You can do it.
Come on, have you guys ever seen Fanboys? Where they go over.
I started watching. It was really stupid, and I turned it off.
Oh man, because
Three
they go to
Enterprise
one part.
Three Enterprise is a fantastic film, dude.
He said Han Solo could beat up Captain Kirk. Well, kick his ass.
Kick his fucking ass.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. There are these movies about a sci-fi franchise that we're all fans of, and as a result, we get to watch movies about them as well. It's really cool. It's like having a life.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't have one of those.
John, this making fun of your dislike of sci-fi is never going to get old.
Oh, I
Keep
love
doing
it.
it. Keep doing it. I don't care.
That's why it's never getting old.
Hey, my favorite Star Trek characters all were on Gargoyles cartoon. So,
as I've said many times, the only sci-fi game worth playing is that one.
It's not sci-fi.
Who said it's not sci-fi?
Me.
It's not sci-fi. What is it?
It's parody and spoof and gonzo.
And the parody and spoof bit is why I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's wonderfully silly. Wonderfully silly. Right. Here we go.
We will make a convert of you yet.
Nah, I gave up, man. I gave up.
I don't know.
None of us know about you, Now.
Like I said, it's I'm an RPG slut. When it comes to it,
Right, Manfred. In terms of genres, fantasy has an assumption, and that assumption is leaning towards a medieval feel. Fantasy as a genre tends to go back in time for its technology. Sci-fi as a genre tends to go forward in time.
What's more fun is when you realize they're not actually genres; they're just milieus and settings and set decoration for the basic 7 stories of humanity.
Dude, that's deep.
Expand on that. Expand. Go on, Bear.
Man versus man, man versus bear, wild, man versus self, man versus time, man versus whatever, right? That's what all storytelling is, the central conflict of the story. Now, you can take Lord of the Rings and reskin it with spaceships and laser swords, and it's sci-fi now? No, it's still the same goddamn story. And the perfect example of that is you take Seven Samurai, The Magnificent Seven, and Battle Beyond the Stars. 3 tellings of the exact same story. One is feudal Japanese setting, one is Old West setting, and one is space opera setting. Same fucking story.
Totally correct. I agree.
Cal, it is if you only stick to the dictionary definition of the word fantasy. In terms of genres, in terms of a genre, fantasy, it's different. It's like I worked for IDOS when we released Final Fantasy VII, the port for the PC, and I played it and I hated it because it didn't feel like fantasy as I imagined the genre. It was all things mishmashed together. I get that it's a fantasy, but it's not fantasy.
Let's not get into the fantasy because this could get dark. Really.
Oh yeah, you don't want to know mine.
No, really don't.
So Bear, yeah, I know you don't like the grimdark, but I assume that you really like the pulp action, which is what I like for games as well.
So I don't play games. Like this is the thing people seem to forget is I don't play games. I run some games and I enjoy them, but I'm never a player. So I prefer to run.
If you are a DM, you are a player. You are a player.
All right, we can split that fucking hair. But my point is I don't play in games. I run games, and as a result, I run the stuff I like, and I tend to like fantasy, sci-fi, specifically Star Trek more than anything else, some cyberpunk once in a while, and superheroes. Those are the things I enjoy running. Those are the things I enjoy telling stories in because they're the most open-ended and the most possible. I once tried to run Call of Cthulhu, and never again, because it's just the best you can hope for is you go insane first. You know what I mean? Like that's the ultimate win in Call of Cthulhu is I died before the great old one showed up. You know, like
no, it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, I know everyone likes to argue with me on that, but
so Bear, is there any particular reason you just don't? Do you not want to play, or you just, or is it just, or you just enjoy being the DM so much more?
Okay. When I started playing, I had a DM who was an absolute miserable piece of humanity, and none of us talk to him anymore, and we all kind of don't care if he dies in a ditch. But he was a really good DM, and his way of DMing became the flavor of choice for me in all the games we played in. Since him, I went and played with other people. I never found anyone that could get me that immersed into the world or that involved into my character or that excited about the game. And slowly but surely, I just stopped losing interest in being a player and instead ran the game to do my thing. And it was more fun.
Okay. I was just curious if, some of us became forever DMs just because no one else wanted to run. Or like, I want to do this game, but they didn't want to run. It's like, oh, okay.
This kind of goes into what Omanal just said. When I DM'd we had like the quote forever DM. And then every once in a while, we were all the same age. Every once in a while, his brother would DM. And of course, you get tired of doing it. So I'd be like, okay, I'll do it. The thing is, they loved it when I ran the game because I hated DMing so much that I tried so hard to be a really good DM. And it really, I don't know, it worked out. I don't know, but
it's an art. Being a narrator, being a storyteller, all that fun stuff, it's an art. And you got to, like any other art, you have to practice and you have to improve and you have to get better at it.
Absolutely.
Those muscles will atrophy if you give them too much time. Sadly, my player muscles have atrophied. So when I'm a player, I get bored. I tend to play characters that are going to be polarizing and therefore force the other players to have to deal with someone who isn't all, hey, Keen, let's go on the adventure, guys. And that really pisses them off, And I even had a player one time was running a game for us. He said, should play a sorcerer. I said, no. I warlock. He said, no. He said, why? I said, because my lord will tell me to do something that is counter to the group. And I won't even think twice about it. I'll do it. He goes, we don't have to. I went, yes, I do. I'm playing a character who made the decision to give up his life to get power. None of you are going to be that nice that he's going to give up that deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to happen. So, but this is people who never read Elric. So they kind of,
I still need to finish those 2 books. Well, the
Blue
2
Chew. Did someone just say I should get some Blue Chew? My goodness. Sorry. I'm just working on something at the same time I'm talking, so I apologize if I seem distracted.
Well, it is pumpkin hour. I am afraid to say it is pumpkin hour, and hopefully, if Nightbot is working, I do have a pumpkin reminder set up now. So, come on, Nightbot, be alive. Come on, Nightbot.
I saw pumpkin, but I don't see anything else in there. Oh, there it goes.
Has it worked? I haven't seen it.
Yes, 'tis the hour when my head gets even more large and round and turns orange. Like and subscribe to avoid a visit from Asterisk.
Hey, Sarek.
There we go. Right. So we're gonna do the good night bit. Because I've been really stupid and haven't put everyone's links in the channel description, video description, as I always forget to do.
It's okay.
I'm disorganized. Sean, tell everyone about your channel. If they're not already subscribed, why should they subscribe?
I'm with Mage's Musings. I recap games. I do general silliness, and I do it all through my fun puppets. Meet the disclaimer imp, who happens to be on the table right with me.
Oh, there he is.
And the favorite miniatures of all, with the Order of the Stick minis.
With the Order of the Stick minis, also fun. So yeah, I'm terrible at selling myself, but my upcoming videos are going to be recapping what happened at Cleric Con, so there'll be sort of a special edition. So keep an eye out for those in the coming weeks.
Excellent. And Bear?
I'm the only Bear the Gen X GM on YouTube, so pretty easy to find. And I talk a lot. Don't subscribe. Stay away. Probably best that you avoid me at all costs.
He has that silky smooth radio voice. Subscribe.
No, too late. You all kissed Cody's ass today. Any little makeups you do now don't count.
Speaking of people who talk a lot, Omanal, why haven't you got a channel?
Seriously,
I don't think anyone wants to hear about farming and other stuff that I would probably, because to be honest, why would I try intruding on you guys when you do such a great job that I'd rather watch you for that? If I'm going to do stuff, it'd be about my farm, and that's a whole different related thing. So that's why.
Oh, fair enough. And Daniel, always good to see you, because I class you as one of my success stories.
No, thank you.
Was in the audience.
I guess I'll make a plaque and put that up on the wall of my den.
But of course, Daniel does become Kelsey on a Friday night, as we are.
Depends on if that's when I'm making dinner.
We also had Saxius on earlier. We've had Brian from Gaming with ADHD on, at Elfbait. Both Brian and Elfbait have their channels, so support them. There's Elfbait in chat. Give him a like and a bit of support. And Hungar popped in as well. He's not feeling too well at the moment, so I'm sure Hungar would like a little bit of love sent his way, because Hungar's a good sort.
I do want to thank you guys for your channels. Just so you know, it gives me hours of enjoyment every week. It helps. It's cool.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Daniel. Have I forgotten anybody? Is there anybody who's popped in that I've forgotten?
You forgot yourself, it looks like.
Oh, I forgot myself. Yeah, I'm forgettable. I'm the old geek. I started off doing this for just doing reviews, and somehow I've ended up hosting discussions with these fellas,
with a bunch of reprobates.
Yeah,
the motley crew.
And I appear on their channels, and now I play games, and I think I can read books. I mean, who am I kidding? And yeah, if you want to play some games with us, if you really want to see us in our environment, my Discord every Saturday there are 2 gaming sessions. Come along and play.
Oh, and if you get a chance to play this Call of Cthulhu games, those are always excellent whenever I've played in them.
They are very good. Yeah.
Well, I would love to run a Call of Cthulhu for people online. It's just that getting schedules lined up, because unfortunately, fate has conspired for Sunday to be my single busiest day of the week. Most Sundays I work 12 to 14 hours with 2 different jobs, so that is an absolute pain in the rectum. But I might manage something on a Saturday sometime. I would have to stop my MERP or OSE game in order to do that. But we'll see. We'll get something going. Because I would like to run a game of Call of Cthulhu on a stream. because people tell me I'm all right at it.
Well, what we need to do is get you and Saxius together to run a Call of Cthulhu game, and that way we
Oh,
can.
yeah. I'd like for Saxius to play in one. I'd like to play. Saxius to play in one, but yeah, I'm in the new year sometime. I'm planning on running on my channel, depending what slot falls open. I'm planning on running Horror on the Orient Express if somebody wants to commit for a very long campaign, because it is massive, but it's awesome. We shall see. We shall see. Anyway,
I gotta go. My daughter just got home from work, so I've got to give hugs and all that other stuff. So,
all right, you go give your hugs to your daughter.
Good
I'm going to
evening.
I'm going to be
Thanks for the
I'm going to be
stream.
closing this now. But yeah, if you just if you want to play games, just join the Discord. Say hello to me in the Discord, and yeah, we'll get you involved. Cheers all. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye now.
Opposed, gentlemen.